Hey, we're back. We've got round four.
Round
Round
four, second one of today.
Yep. We have a battle in the north. It's Canadian versus Canadian. We've got Ben versus Andy. Emberwatch versus Headsmen. What are they bringing with those?
So Andy is playing the Emberwatch. He will be doing Emberstone Sentinels as well as Countdown to Cataclysm. Talking to him a little bit earlier, we had an interview with him at the beginning of the day yesterday. He's playing a bit of a flex with more emphasis on hold. And the Emberwatch have a lot of tools that I think will make some surprising plays today. And then Headsman's Curse we haven't featured yet. This is one of those Grand Alliance boxes people haven't seen yet. The Headsman's Curse, as you can expect, very strong power to be able to dish out a lot of damage if they line things up right. The wielder has the capacity under the certain circumstances to one-shot a Stormcast. So Andy has to be very careful about how he positions.
Yeah.
And since pretty quickly Ben will figure out he's going for tokens, he may be able to surround those and make life difficult.
Yeah.
So we'll see how they play.
We've seen a number of Headsman's players in the event. I wonder if it was taken as a counter pick to Drum, but it doesn't seem like it's been terribly effective so far.
No, so far many of them I think have taken a loss. I'm not sure any Headsmans are undefeated. Ben's flavor, he's taking Blazing Assault compared also with Emberstone Sentinels, so they will be competing for those tokens. Ben will be doing a little bit more aggressive, and Andy will have a couple more tools to move himself around. So we'll see exactly how things work out, but he does have the potential to take down an elite. That is what you get to see out of a good Headsman's player, and so we'll see which Canadian comes out on top. Fighters appear to have done the roll-off. Andy is currently working on orienting the board, so Emberwatch will have a bit of an advantage there.
I'm going to assume that as the Emberwatch player, he is going to steer clear of blocked hexes.
I would imagine he doesn't want blocked hexes. Having the ghosts being able to fly also means that they're going to be able to move through those, so it's not as much of a deterrent, and it will interfere with some of his potential shooting. So,
well, in second edition, flyers do not move through blocked.
I forgot about that. That's true. They ignore the stagger while moving, but they cannot move through the blocked. Regardless, Andy probably wants to have all of his shots available to him, and as such has chosen the open board.
Both warbands sporting Emberstone Sentinels, so the feature tokens are going to be important in this one.
2 in neutral territory means that they could potentially both get slow advance, which would be an interesting end phase, but you never know. For those who aren't aware, Headsman's Curse do have a couple of abilities. As you may remember from first edition, they do have the capacity to raise a slain fighter. The way that this works now is if the wielder kills someone, he can raise one fighter once per game. So it's not an infinite recursion the way we saw before, but you still want to get that to happen to be able to bring back usually the bearer of the block. The Sharpener has a capacity to give Grievous to a weapon once per game if he is adjacent to the attacker. And the Scriptor has the ability to condemn. If the condemned fighter is slain, then some inspiration happens. So they've got a couple of different tricks up their sleeve. They look different than they did before, but have much the same type of play style where they often want to be doing a bit of save up your moment and then make that one big attack. And with only 3 fighters to take down, if he gets 1 per round, he'll be in a pretty good spot.
Thanks for the assist, Tristan. Really liking the color scheme on Andy's cloaks here. They've got a nice tone to them.
Yeah, I do very much like that. The blending on the yellow is nice. Blue Ghost, very colorful, thematic. This will be a fun one.
Andy's coming fresh off a game against Ephelum, against Madison's own Bobby Hurley. Sounds like they had a great go of it. I would really love to see that one.
Yeah, tight fight to the end. Apparently it was very well played out of both guys. They were really excited about that one. So I have played Andy before. I know he has a lot of game. Definitely not someone to count out. Even coming off a loss, like he is a threat for sure. And Emberwatcher, I think, a little more powerful than people give him credit for. In the hands of a skilled player, we might be able to see him do some pretty fancy things.
If there's any Canadians in the chat who can explain this madness that Ben has for his activation tokens, I'd appreciate it.
Ben is wearing a hat that says anti-fashion. So I think he is fully committed to the concept of you can't tell me what to do. And I appreciate that about the man.
So we're pointing at the scripter. Ben's going to have to pick somebody within 5 of the scripter to condemn, which is clearly going to have to be
because I think it's the only option here.
Yep. So now all the headsmen are going to inspire individually for each one that can manage to damage Yurik, successfully hit Yurik this round. I have to imagine that Andy put him forward with the idea being that he can kind of back off and shoot,
It's also possible that he doesn't want to put one of his more valuable fighters towards the wielder because he's got a good chance of losing that fighter. And we know both Ardorn and Farasa are quite potent when inspired, so he'll want to be in enemy territory and activate at some point, but I think he needs to pick his moment, hopefully bait a charge out of the wielder so he doesn't have as much to fear. And Yurik might just be his bait. And he opens by moving onto that token. Knowing that he's playing Emberstone Sentinels, he's shooting now with range 4 into this sharpener of the blade, but unfortunately has missed.
Doesn't quite have the sharpener surrounded yet. I don't think he would have been going for a kill there, do you?
He may have just wanted to have an attack with a charge token while holding. He was able to place that fighter on guard, so while being only on 1 shield, being guard means he can't be driven back, so he'll likely continue to occupy that token for some time.
We've got an attack. 3 dice. This has to have been, it's coming in from the scripter, misses, and then triggers.
Both players having a bit of a laugh about the unassailable score there. Andy pretty satisfied with, no matter what happened there, he wasn't getting driven off, but it's nice to also not take the damage.
Daniel Knight asking about the ramp to one shot with the new edition on the Headsmen's. The wielder carries a weapon uninspired that's doing 3 damage and doing it the honest way without Grievous. Inspired gets to a 4. So
should he be given Grievous by an upgrade or by the sharpener, he can do 5 damage in 1 hit, which can take down most fighters in the game. And so unless Great Fortitude comes out, if the wielder inspires, any one of Andy's fighters can be taken out in 1 swing.
Samsky, the sharpener does still sharpen. It's a once per game, wet the blade. Use this immediately after you pick a weapon as part of your leader's attack. If they are adjacent to a friendly sharpener of the blade, that weapon has Grievous for that attack. You can only use this ability once per game. So the sharpener doesn't have to be adjacent to the target. It helps for a little bit extra flanking, but there's a little bit more flexibility in the positioning than that.
There is one thing that's valuable to note as well. They have one other ability we haven't talked about, and it's called Cackling Court. If you have a fighter flanking, you can use this once per game ability to mean that swords and hammers both count as successes on the next attack. So you'll have a flanked and swords and hammers and crits, which means 5 out of 6 facings will be successes, which is pretty potent. And so should you stack those things, you get Grievous and all that accuracy without needing a rune mark. Things can get really dangerous. It is all putting your resources in one basket, but sometimes that is how Headsman plays. And if you make that work for you, I mean, that can swing a game.
Now, this is not a matchup I've ever seen before. I'm curious how Andy's going to go about this. Is he going to try and chip away at the wielder? Try and get that wielder to feel self-conscious about where he's standing, or is it too hard to get through that 2 dodge right out of the gate?
Yeah, Yeah, without ensnare, and you have to worry about getting close enough to shoot him, because if he has commanding stride or decides to commit to a charge, you could be in a hard spot. And they are, of course, both playing Emberstone Sentinels, and so there will be a lot of that token battling. With those two in the middle, you can't necessarily afford to let him occupy them, because Ben is currently in position to score supremacy, and Andy's got to be thinking about that.
Bear the block now, not providing anything other than a big body and another source of damage. He can inspire up to, looks like 2 damage with Grievous. So a source of 3 damage once inspired. Kind of a secondary hitter.
All right, twist the knife is.
Oh no, it's a duelist, I think.
Duelist, yes, the pushing. So Farasa will be able to move after she attacks, which may be able to charge someone and step out of danger, or get onto a token after you pushed off, even if you don't have overrun available to you.
Or we might see it. Yeah, we're going to see a shot here and then a step out of range.
Possibly.
Maybe.
Farasa on her shot does hit on hammers, so she has 1 success, but a dodge was rolled. The bearer of the block able to be driven back, though. And then, yes, exactly, getting out of danger's way.
Now the Emberwatch, especially on Farasa and Ardorn, really like that Inspire. 2 blocks a really big deal. If somebody's swinging at you with a huge sword and they're only doing it on 2 hammers, 2 block feels way, way better.
Definitely.
But in order to do that, he's going to have to get into enemy territory. So I like the discipline of him holding back until he's got a safe opportunity to do so.
Emberwatch do have that once per game teleport. You can either use that right before the end of the round to set up to inspire immediately on the next go, which might be what he does here. But it all kind of depends on what the wielder decides to do, where he is when he does it.
Not knowing for sure which objectives that Ben has included. We're suspecting that supremacy could very well be in there. The bearer is worth 2 bounty, so Ben is currently in position to score a pretty safe supremacy with those 2 treasure tokens back there.
Bear has currently been driven off.
My fault.
So we have 1 bounty on the sharpener and 1 bounty on the scripter. So he currently doesn't have supremacy, though he certainly could move back onto a token.
Mm-hmm. And on the other side of things, Andy's in good position to it for up. We got
Urek. Now he's on to 4, so he has the supremacy potential as well. And interestingly, does hold all in his home territory. There's the chance to score that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Iron Grasp is a thing he could do, though I suppose that also is true.
There it is. Teleport. Ardorn coming in.
And interestingly, he could eat a charge here.
I wonder, so what I like about that, change up.
Changing his mind about who's going to go where.
I actually like that change. Farasa is the one who's more likely to be able to trigger an overrun. And when she's inspired, she's throwing 4 swords, more chances for a crit on her melee attacks. And I think by putting her back there, you put a 2 bounty fighter instead of a 3 as well. And then if the wielder wants to turn around, well, the wielder is not going for treasure token 3. It's putting some pressure on this final activation, while still giving Farasa the chance to inspire.
Bear has a move token, so it has to be the wielder. So he has kind of cleared out the middle of the round. Taking the wielder off the center means that he's a little more safely able to contest the middle of the board. See how he makes use of that. The wielder is throwing 2 hammers, no supports.
Got 1 success.
So Andy is on 1 shield.
50-50. Big roll.
And that's not it. So that is going to be 3 damage there to Farasa, who cannot be driven back. There's nowhere for her to go.
Now, Andy does have access to healing potion in this pairing. If he took it in, I believe it's in Emberwatch or Emberstone Sentinels.
Emberstone Sentinels does have healing potion, I do believe. And it looks like it has actually 4 damage. I may have missed something in there. Again, for those still living in the first edition, Stormcast have base 5 health now. So 4 damage does not take them out. Though, knowing that Countdown to Cataclysm is the card deck that has been chosen by the ghosts here, there is a chance for ping damage to come out at some point. So it's not necessarily safe to say that she's made it out of here alive.
The ghosts actually have Blazing Assault.
My
and
apologies.
Emberstone.
I have continually mixed these things up.
Oh, Wet the Blade. Right there. It was right there in front of us.
Oh, and that's what it was. So once
Thank
again, Wet the Blade has been used to grant Grievous to that attack.
Thanks, Mateus. Appreciate it. And that seems like a Discord name person. Mateus, you're not. You're a famous name. I know you.
So activating a core ability in enemy territory will inspire Farasa. Not sure if that was a charge or a move or what he's done there. You see Supremacy in Andy's hand, which we do believe he will score.
Uninspired is a little bit of a tough one to land, to dodge.
It seems like that may have been a sidestep play or something. So they've just gone to the end phase. He didn't even make a charge. I'm not clear what happened there.
It's possible he made an attack that we missed, and that was the duelist speed. Oh, big 5 glory score.
So he's got Supremacy as we expected. And then from the Countdown to Cataclysm, he's also scored Set Explosives. He holds 2 or more treasure tokens and all of them in any territories. So he's got 2 different ways to score the same type of effect here, which has a similar card in Emberstone Sentinels, so we may see it come back again.
I still might have missed something because I don't see Farasa inspired.
No, I'm not sure that she made
Emberwatch I stand alone. Mateus
so that may have
helping
been
us
what
out.
he has done. So both players scoring Supremacy here, but I don't believe that's true. So he didn't. Yeah, just realizing now the bounty didn't quite add up. So now we'll have to see if Ben decides to hold that for the next round or ditch it for something else. Considering all of his fighters are full health, he may be able to score it in the future, but it does eat up a spot in his hand.
Quick countdown update. Looks like he advanced 3 spots.
Not quite at the countdown value of 2 yet, which is kind of the break point for where things get interesting.
Interesting thing that was noticed by folks here, I just learned yesterday, is that countdown to Cataclysm, that advancing that counter are can, not required.
It is not required. So generally, unless you're carrying one of the specific upgrades, it's not advised to go past 2, which I have heard did cost a player a game in this tournament already, not realizing that that is an optional advancement of the counter.
It's particularly helpful if you're trying to score wreckers and you don't want to accidentally advance yourself too far.
Upgrades floating out here, and he's spending the glory that he has.
You're getting Utter Conviction, which I'm fairly certain is the save equal to the Cataclysm count. And I see Keen Eye on or Ardor.
Utter Conviction is one of those cards that would encourage you to increase your Cataclysm count beyond 2. But seeing as Uric can't go past 1 anyway, anything greater than 1 will still be a net benefit to his defense.
It's one of those interesting situations where we're at 5-0, but the board state looks pretty good for Headsmen's to make a comeback.
Swords beat hammers in the roll-off here. Also worth noting, I believe that We Stand Alone sidestep push was used particularly to make it so that Farasa was not the condemned fighter. She was within 5, and now she is not.
Very
That
clever.
may have been the big brain play out of Andy there to make sure that Uric was, again, the only option.
Look at the Sharpener coming in to try and get the kill. He's using a War Scroll ability here.
Maybe the swords and hammers count. We see 2 hammers.
That's going to do it.
So Andy only able to roll 1 shield here. He did get the crit, but it is reduced to a minimum of 1. So Farasa will still take that 1 damage, and she will be slain, granting 2 bounty. And it will score some cards. Strike the head, while the underdog, just a bounty greater than yours. And so that's probably why he used the Sharpener, because the Sharpener is a 1 bounty fighter, and that allowed him to score Strike the Head without having to take out the leader because he was the underdog at the time.
Zach, I wouldn't think so. The Warhammer preview, I think, is scheduled for 1800 local. It's currently only 1300 here.
We have 5 hours to go until that, so it'll be probably right after our final streamed game of the day. We'll finish this round. We'll do 1 more, and then the preview should be immediately following. By the numbers is taken, so 2 cards being drawn here by the Emberwatch.
Yeah, interestingly, currently they have our round 6 going from 4 local to 7 local, which would
So it may have a bit of overlap depending on how long our round runs.
Yeah.
You can leave us to watch the preview, but I'm going to take notes.
We take attendance. I'm going to relate a story. Actually, the way we learned that is the aforementioned Bobby running FLMs had a countdown to Cataclysm. Game ended. He won it either on tiebreakers.
It was
or
on a
very
tiebreaker.
Close.
He won the game. As they go to shake hands, he realizes, oh no, I never advanced my Cataclysm counter. I actually don't score wreckers. Therefore, I didn't get those 2 points because he didn't realize that it was an optional. So he retroactively gave himself counters to lose the game. And we didn't know that, and the judges didn't realize that until after scores were submitted. And Bobby did it in stride. He, it hurts a little, but he is not upset about it. But now we all know it is an optional advancement of the Cataclysm counter.
Uric picking up some more upgrades. And now he's going to start sniping away here.
Two hammers.
That looks like 2 successes.
That is not a success out of Uric, so damage has been done. My apologies, I had that backwards. So Uric did hit the scripter of the sentence, has done 1 damage, and perhaps more importantly, driven him off of that token. Then realizing he had a reroll, but there's no real value in it because the damage would still go through, though the question is, could he stand fast and prevent the drive back? So they did the reroll, he didn't get the crit, so result stands.
does seem like some sort of preview is going to be happening.
Yeah. A little bit of confusion on our end. We're not really able to see what's going on, but there may actually be a preview shown. I don't know if that's only being shown locally or if you're able to see that on the main Warhammer streams, but there may be a preview show. And if you want to duck out for that, I will hold it against you, and then we'll try and summarize what happened while you were away if you come back.
Rob, I think you're right. It looks like it's 1800 GMT. We are committed to this. We'll find out what all the cool stuff is. You may hear some roar in the background. We're going to manage the sound as best we can.
Good to see you in the chat, Jason.
So one thing for Andy is he knows without a doubt that Ben has supremacy in hand.
The discard pile is open information, so he will know if it was discarded or not.
Looks like a crit.
Not a crit. 1 damage and likely a drive back.
And an inspire.
And an inspire, considering that Yurik was the condemned individual. And that scores him aggressive defender because he was holding the token with a charge. So there's another surge glory for Ben there. Interestingly, Yurik was not driven off the token. There may be an upgrade in there saying that he can't be. I'm not exactly sure what's on. 2 dodge with a reroll, but he's choosing not to reroll it because 2 successes does beat 1. And having more crits overrun isn't really useful when you're at range, so no need to reroll there. And that scores him unassailable as well, for he remains on the token.
It's possible the drive back didn't happen because he wanted to be able to keep shooting there.
Maybe, but his ability to be charged out is pretty low.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah, he's charged on there.
And that is Growing Concerns. Growing Concerns is a card from the Countdown to Cataclysm deck. Enemy fighters have -X move in the next action step, where X is your Cataclysm value. I believe Andy has ticked over to 2. So that means that enemy fighters will be -2 move.
That's a big for Yurik as well, who's now on 2 defense dice. Oh boy.
So that is Illusory Fighter. So be able to reposition the wielder, and that minus move may not be as harmful. You don't know what you don't know. And Andy was operating under the assumption that he was going to have to try and slow that wielder down.
Joseph, thanks for asking. We are having a good time here.
I'm always having a good time. For the having a good time fans out there in the world, there is a painting showcase that's separate from the models. Aman Khusro, famous from Path to Glory, has submitted Iron Skull's Boys as his painting entry, and I couldn't be happier. So hopefully we'll get some pictures of that up at some point. But they are a beautiful blue checkmark scheme, really good blending on the skin, and I love to see Gurzak shine. So 3 damage has now been dealt to Yurik.
He only rolled the 1 defense dice, so he must have not yet been up to those. Oh, but that gets an inspire.
And inspires the wielder, which is critical. And also importantly, now has the capacity to score supremacy again. So cannot be flanked or surrounded while in enemy territory. I don't think he is.
No man's land right now.
Not sure that it requires enemy territory, but I believe it does. Nope, it doesn't have to be enemy territory. Brawler just says this fighter cannot be flanked or surrounded. So a little bit of a defense boost. I'm not sure how often flanked or surrounded is going to come up against the wielder, but Ben not taking any chances.
Impresley snipes will make sure they know that you're watching. We're going to wait until in between the games. We don't want to interrupt the flow state for anybody.
Score currently 5-5. There is no underdog, which can affect things like healing potion that we assume Andy has somewhere in his deck.
I think I might see hidden paths in his hand there.
The question is, can he get to an edge X to use it?
I think he can. He'll be telegraphing a bit.
Fusion. So he's back on that token.
Oh.
Which could be big, because we do know supremacy's there.
Yep.
That might force the bearer of the block to go somewhere less efficient.
Neither of the Emberwatch having charged yet.
Andy is holding loaded with plunder, loaded for bear, whatever that's called. He needs to keep Yurik alive, because that's the man with all the upgrades.
I don't see a good way right now for Yurik to die, as much damage he has on him. I don't know if there's any shenanigans. It would need a big move boost to get the bear over. We got one success.
2 dodge, and that is a crit.
Crit.
Andy leaning back in his chair, waiting for that final activation. And the bearer does move on to an objective. He now holds all in his territory, so he could score Iron Grasp. He could score Supremacy. It might be a big end phase out of the Ghosts.
Now, Andy
Interestingly,
clearly
Ardorn has never activated this game.
Andy was pretty interested in making sure he was on this treasure token here. He's also, well, he can take a shot at an inspired scripter to try and bump him off.
That may be what he's trying to do here. Prevent that.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah, there's possibly 5 glory tied up in the end phase if he doesn't drive him back. But there's a crit and a success. Beautiful. All right, we're on 2 dodge, though. That's a crit and a success. Wouldn't you know it?
He can be driven back. Let's see if he recognizes that he can be driven back.
Yeah. Tie, and he can drive back on a tie. Ben fighting his case as strong as he can. But unfortunately for him, could be a big swing in the outcome of this game. He does have a defensive reroll.
He's going to go for it. He's that trying to fit his second crit. No,
not there.
Same result, essentially.
But, you know, in Worlds, you've got to take every chance you can. But no, unfortunately, that is somewhere between 3 and 5 glory that's gone from Ben's end phase. That might end up being one of the more pivotal moments in this whole game. Is that one drive back?
I'm going to guess, by the way, Ben was reacting to that result that he is not holding a sidestep right now.
Cataclysm counter being tracked up pretty heftily.
Ooh, yeah.
Which puts Yurik on, I believe, 3 defense now. Loaded for bear. That is Wreck the Realm. Havoc.
And then Keep Chopping
Looks
came
like
out
Keep
from
Chopping
Headsmen.
is the only thing that Ben was able to get out of that.
Whoa,
having
big.
so much of his scoring tied into that token that he couldn't quite hold.
You love to see confusion coming in. An 8th. Round 3.
Crushing disappointment for Ben. You can see it on his face that he really needed to stay on that token.
I think he's still in a good spot right now, though.
Fusion and drive back to slow his game down dramatically, though. With those being end phase scores, he can't pick them up again for 4 more activations. The question is, does he keep them in hand, or does he dump them in hopes of getting some surges he can score more reliably?
I think I might have just seen the 3 damage attack action upgrade in Andy's hand. Uh, so if he can chip 1 onto the wielder, get that as a follow up attack, and then with the Raptors of Sigmar, that's
Add
a
1 more. It's
yeah.
true.
Now that's counting on no stand fast on that one. So
True.
very well played game from both.
For sure, yeah. I mean, we know they'll both be very technical, very skilled players, and it is an interesting matchup to be sure. Having both players taking Emberstone Sentinels adds another layer of interlaced play where they're both kind of competing over the same tokens.
Yeah.
And the whole treasure and knowing the other one is as well.
I played other games that use the term entanglement, like how much you're up in each other's business, and that is forcing them to be in that state right out of the gate.
So Yurik is condemned once again, though presumably on a pretty high defensive characteristic now. Do have 2 crits.
Whoa.
And
a hammer.
Inspired. He may still be on swords, but he does get critical effort regardless of the result of this defense, which is a failure out of Yurik. So 1 away from death now.
And may also stagger him if they remember.
I believe the scripter does have a rune mark. I can't quite see what it is from the table here. It is stagger, so he presumably could stagger Yurik. I don't know if he has missed that or if he's choosing not to for some reason.
Maybe thinking about some drive back spots.
Maybe.
Oh, there's healing potion in hand.
Huge.
It's
Not the underdog, but still, 1
Yep.
could be the difference.
Slight correction to our glory counts. I was a little off, but we are at 8 for Andy, 6 for Ben.
There's a healing potion, putting Yurik a little bit safer position. The wielder can certainly still finish him off, but may not be doable by anyone else.
And Presley Snipes, I'm assuming you're Canadian because you are so excited about this. So maybe you can answer for your country mates. What is this organizational scheme on Glory here? I'm seeing 2 rows of 3 on the one side and then some sort of impressionistic shape over on Andy's side.
1 success out of the attack for Andy there. Aggressive defenders and no successes on the wielder, so did take that 1 damage by doing the 3 damage attack from that upgrade. For those watching at home, the upgrade is called Desperate Rage. This is from the Countdown to Cataclysm deck. It is a 2 hammers attack for 3 damage. Immediately after you have attacked, regardless of whether it's successful, you inflict 1 damage on the fighter. So you're taking 1 to deal 3. Probably still a good trade in this situation.
Yeah.
He had to use the healing potion to be able to spend that attack, or he would have killed himself with it. But it does mean he's on the edge of death here.
Violent Blast. Ooh, I love this one. This is a push everybody that's within 1 hex of a stagger
He
hex.
was within the hex of a stagger, so he's gotten himself away, forcing the bearer to charge.
There's a healing potion. And an underdog doesn't come through, but the wielder...
still won.
Yeah, that's real big because he can no longer be shot to death with the help of Raptors of Sigmar. That means if somebody wanted to try and one-shot him, they've got to go in for a melee attack. All the more risky. Oh, there we go.
Hidden paths, which we saw before.
Yerk's had enough.
Excellent 2-card combo. Push yourself away from the stagger to an edge, and then hidden paths out of there. He is the condemned fighter. No more inspiration. They can't reach him. Now, presumably, Ardorn can do what he can. See if he can't finish off the wielder of the blade. Most of the way through round 2, we still have yet to see, or round 3 even.
Yep.
Ardorn has not activated. Sharpened points. This grants cleave to a weapon. Again, the wielder has not charged. So he, inspired, can charge with cleave into Ardorn if you should so see that as the right choice. I think that is great fortitude has been given. Or maybe great strength. I'm not sure which of the two. But Ardorn just gaining a great something for 2 glory.
I can't quite tell from here. I don't know if Ben's got a source of 1 more damage if he sends the wielder after Ardorn. He can get that 4 on him.
Well, he could possibly have Twist the Knife, but he's already given himself Cleave, so he can't choose both Grievous and Cleave. So not playing Twist the Knife here, just making the open attack. That is one hammer. So 1 success out of the wielder. Ardorn on only 1 shield.
Oh, 2. He's got a
2,
bonus.
But they were both dodges, which not on guard isn't going to be enough. So that'll be 4 damage onto Ardorn. Not over yet, but both of his fighters are now on the edge of being slain. Aggressive defender. Is that what that is?
Get stuck in.
Get stuck in. Just having a...
Looking for enough wounds spread around, I believe. Blazing Assault, that's going to be.
Get stuck in immediately after a friendly fighter's attack if the target was in enemy territory. So you don't even have to hit.
That
does
was an
help
easy
that
one.
he did hit for 4 damage, though. So that's 1 more glory for Ben, putting him at a total of 7 now.
So Ardorn could try to melee the wielder to death, swing back, and use Raptors to finish the job. It's not a high percentage attack. What is Ardorn uninspired? Is probably 2
Ardorn
hammers.
uninspired is throwing 2 hammers with both of his attacks. So against 2 dodge with multiple upgrades, I'm not sure which, there is the chance that this fails. It looks like Andy's going for it. He's got 2 dice in hand.
It might have Keen Eye in there. I can't tell.
Keen Eye will give him +1 dice.
We'll see how many dice go into the tray here. Yep, 3.
And that's 2 hammers.
Successes.
So on 2 dodge.
Ben's really looking for a crit here to stand fast.
2.
There it is.
Well, 1 crit will still do.
So
he does take damage, but only 1 damage. The Raptors of Sigmar will not be enough to finish him off. So Andy choosing not to use it here. Interestingly, neither fighter drove the other back in this sequence.
Sidestep.
Andy using sidestep instead to get out of danger. Hidden Paths has already been used, so Ardorn can't get out of danger so easily. The War Scroll teleport has also been used by Farasa to start the game. Interesting to see both Stormcast all the way on their back line. When we have pegged this warband as wanting to be in enemy territory, Andy has taken a completely different approach.
I think they took a lesson from Farasa's untimely demise.
They saw what happens if you go over there. They changed their mind about where they want to be.
Looking like 11-7. Oh, pulled back in.
Lure of Battle has pulled Ardorn back into range.
Now he's still got a charge token, so where is this other damage going to come from? Maybe a wings? Do we think...
Did the Sharpener also have?
Oh,
there it is.
Is it a Discorporate?
Discorporate is a War Scroll ability for the ghosts. I'll admit I'm not familiar with, but must allow that to happen.
Discorporate. Oh, right. So it is a core action, core ability. And it reads as follows. Pick a friendly fighter to use this core ability. Remove that fighter from the battlefield and place them in an empty hex. You can only use this ability once per game. So by setting up there, he's forcing Ardorn to take a charge to get away so that he's not going to be sitting in that flanked situation. But the wielder is going to be able to come in for a swing. Here's it. Wow.
2 crits and a success.
Oh, a high five from
across
Ben.
the table.
Canadians loving it.
Andy holds his hands over his head in disbelief at the luck he had there. There's nothing the wielder can do. Takes 2 damage. And that's the end. Rolling just for completeness sake.
Oh.
But it is also the perfect cut.
Oh,
Not only does he take all that
the
bounty,
perfect cut.
but he gets another Surge Glory for his effort as well. Huge sigh of relief out of Andy. You can see his shoulders drop. He knew he was in a very dangerous spot there.
Yeah.
He needed that to go through.
Joseph, I agree. It's a strong ability, but it takes an entire action, and so I think it's fairly balanced because that's quite a chunk of your economy. But I love the flexibility that you can use it for. I think this pairing is great. Being able to pick somebody up and put them on a token that you particularly want is real handy. So I think this is an inspired pairing from Ben.
Notably, Ben moving on to token 4. He holds all in a territory, he holds 2, and he could get supremacy. So we may yet see a big end phase out of him. I don't know if he can scrape out enough glory to catch up, but he's going to make this a much tighter race in the end. Unless, of course, Andy can get this drive back. Urik's range 4 again coming into play. Great, and a success. Ben can't believe it. He's rolling on 1 save just for fun, and it's a failure anyway.
And I think this is Urik.
Urik firing into
knocking him off.
The bearer of the block, shutting out multiple end phase scores again. Drive backs coming in huge for Andy multiple times this game.
Wow, what a game. I'm really liking. We already mentioned Andy's paint job, but I'm enjoying looking at Ben's in contrast here. Yeah. I think he's demonstrating all the things that he might have scored. He got 1.
He had it was a 5 glory end phase that just got shut out. 2 times in this game, the 5 glory had been prevented by Andy's last activation. So
a handshake.
Not much you can do.
Much of the match still to play.
That is why you play 3 games. Can Andy keep stopping that all time? I don't know. Remarkable as well. Both of his fighters on 1 wound left.
3rd round.
That was the end of the game.
Yeah. Andy turning to ask us if it really was over. It was tough. And Presley Snipes, we just let the boys know that you're watching. That wave was for you.
Oh, engaging first game.
Oh, great.
Any lessons you think either of them could take away from that?
I think Andy. I think that it was still correct to risk for Asa. I don't think that was a bad choice, but it was the risk, and for him to kind of recover from that loss was impressive.
I think there was still value as well. The way that he placed her baited a charge backwards out of the wielder, which made it much more difficult for him to use that fighter later in the game without significant power card support. So Ben had to put a lot of resources into being able to make his best fighter part of the game again. So he did lose a fighter for it, but I think ultimately it was still the right move, even knowing that that was going to happen. Andy was able to do some significant, having to pull in two directions and make Ben decide what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
And since you only have 12 activations in a game, each one really does matter.
Yeah.
You can make your opponent waste even one of those.
Yeah. I really liked seeing Andy hold on to Raptors for such a long time for when it was like, I mean, it was backbreaking when he finally got it off. Like that was the game. Takes some discipline to do that. And he knew where he wanted to use it. I don't know if that early shot on the sharpener, but I think we were just pushing off there. Luke Hartman hoping to hear about Guardians in between the rounds. We were joking that if another person asks about Guardians, I'm turning this stream around. No, we're excited about him too. My podcast mate Skylar's repping him. We'd very much like to get him. Our plan is to find a way to get him on the stream for the last round.
Part of it has to do with pairings, who they're playing against. Have we seen that player already? Have we seen that warband already? We are trying to give a diverse experience. We want to expose you to as much of this Grand Alliance stuff as possible. So,
yep.
Yothari's Guardians, yes, we hear you. We do hear you. We have a couple other options. There's also a Miari's Purifiers we'd like to get on at some point.
Yeah.
We'll see what we can do over the next couple of games, and then as we head into the top cut, who makes it and what we see. Plenty of things that are coming up. Do know that we want Yothari's Guardians on the stream as well. We're going to try, but some things are circumstantial, and we can only control so much based on what the pairings end up being.
Yep. I agree. Joseph, it does seem like Emberwatch pulled off some good counterpunch play there. Maybe a good warband for it. We literally saw them hugging the edges of the board, whether it's the back edge or the side edge and all that sort of thing. And some of that's because of the cards and the abilities that they have, but it's cool. Like it's a fun warband.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you can do. I think when Emberwatch first came out, people were somewhat equivocal on them, and it's the more we see good players play them, I think there's going to be some more stuff unlocked. One last comment in the chat, I do see someone saying, what are we going to do about Grimwatch? There is a Grimwatch player here, Graham, who's played them very well in the first edition, has brought them here. He's actually doing quite well today, and there's a chance he makes the top cut. So you may see Grimwatch approaching the top tables before you know it. And
yeah, Graham was a semifinalist at Nova when I was there. Not semifinalist, a finalist, I should say. He was in the finals. That's what finalist means. And he just took down, in the previous round, he took down George Kairos.
George of Path to Glory using Headsman's Curse. Incredibly talented player, very experienced with that warband. And he was able to make that happen despite, I saw in the third game, losing Crack Marrow very early.
Cool.
Still was able to pull it off. So lots of interesting things to come out of Grimwatch, and we'll see if we can get them on as well. But for now, let's turn back to the action. Ben has oriented the boards. He has chosen the one with the blocked hexes, perhaps to limit some of that shooting ability. And we'll see just how things shake out as they place the treasure tokens.
Rutgers and I'd agree. I feel like I may have slept on him. I had a number of players who are a lot better than me talking about Emberwatch and liking some of their matchups, and I was like, I must be missing something. And we've talked about warbands that are good because of their War Scroll, because their fighter cards, or both. I think their War Scroll is pretty incredible.
Absolutely, yeah.
Really,
all of those abilities, every one of them is useful.
Yep. And there's nothing there that's so situational that you'll never find a way to use it. I think that the biggest tension I've found is like deciding when. Like there's always a time when it's useful. When is it going to be most useful? When is holding it too long? We have the treasure out. Once again, we have two in no man's land, neutral territory.
Knowing that they're both playing Emberstone Sentinels may be part of the consideration there.
Yeah. I'm seeing two deep in the territory of the Headsman's Curse, though.
We have a very similar setup to last time. I think similar depth of objective actually on all phases, just kind of mirrored this time. So we may see some similar play lines.
Mm-hmm. The Emberwatch without a starting hex on the edge means that if he does draw into hidden paths, he's not going to be able to use it from a starting hex.
Able to use it.
Where do we think the wielder is going to end up here?
That I'm not sure. He probably wants to place him somewhat forward, but may have some difficulty reaching anyone besides Farasa.
Ooh, thinking about it.
He's, I
Very
suppose,
defensive spot.
decided to take a different approach since it didn't work for him last time to have the wielder so far forward. He may be trying to change his tactics. Being down one game means he has to change something. And he has won the roll-off to go first, and he's drawn his extra card. He has condemned Uruk again, and now is charging at him. So we do see a similar opening, but with different orientation of the board state. We'll see how that changes things.
We got one success coming in from the scripter. And nothing from Uruk, which means the scripter is going to inspire. Uruk's going to take 1 damage.
As well as scoring aggressive defender, so an excellent opening for him. Now he's settling in, so the scripter is going to stay on that token unless something can be done about a push card, but no drive back is going to take him away.
That's funny because it's almost a mirror of what we saw last game where Uruk got on guard right away and
Blade
said,
settle in right away. So
yep.
it's both players using Emberstone Sentinels, they have a similar approach, and it does kind of matter who gets that first move and which cards in hand to start.
Zach making a good point that that far back with the wielder indicates that there's a good chance that Commanding Stride is in hand for a surprise boost to a charge range.
Unfortunately, he only has 1 open starting hex he can pop to right now within 3. But as other fighters move, he'll open up more landing spots, so we'll see exactly what happens. It also depends on where Andy decides to bring his fighters, because he has once again deployed quite defensively. Uruk's counter shot has failed. But he is seeing if he can score aggressive defenders, which I believe he can, because he did make the attack. I don't think it has to hit.
Joseph, the inspire for the Headsman's Curse is that they must damage the condemned fighter, and condemned is Uruk. So the scripter doing a whole lot of work right away with the condemning the fighter and then also damaging him to inspire himself, and now sitting in a good spot. So current for game 2, the current heavy lifter for the Headsman is the scripter. We did get a score off of
aggressive
Emberwatch.
defenders. Yeah, it does not require the attack to be successful, just that you were holding a token when you made it.
We'll get our supremacy. We almost need like a supremacy tracker gadget here. The Emberwatch are ahead in that race ever so slightly. They've got 2 bounty standing on treasure right now, but both warbands have a route to it. The Emberwatch are a little more challenging route because they really, without power card help, only have 1 fighter that can make it to another treasure token, and only 1 specific treasure token they can make it to, which is probably telegraphing a little bit some of the positioning.
This is, of course, dependent on whether or not both players have supremacy in hand, but until we see otherwise, we have to assume that's something they're working towards early game.
Yep. If anyone in the chat knows what the preview was, you could give folks a hint. My guess it was some TV show thing. That might have been. I heard some rumor of like a hidden level trailer or something like that.
There was a trailer for the hidden level, secret level, whatever they call it. And then you can always bet good money on Primaris Lieutenant.
All right, covered it up. That's what we're talking about. I think that's a real strong choice.
It won't get him to supremacy, but it does make it much more difficult. Now, Farasa, of course, can overrun.
Yeah.
But he's saying, even if I don't score it, you're not going to score it either. And denial play is definitely still a valid path to victory here for.
I think that's Duelist that came out, which is big,
Yeah,
and that's
so
going
even
on
if
for
she
Asa.
doesn't succeed on the overrun, if you do
Yep.
get a drive back, she can still scoot onto that token. So
I wonder if he doesn't have a plan for Ardorn. I might charge with Ardorn next. Try to shoot the Sharpener off, and that would put pressure on Headsmen to make another.
with the blocked hex, I don't know that you can shoot along the edge.
No, you have to. He'd have to charge to the edge, if that's possible. But he's going with Farasa. So Frost is either looking for an overrun or looking to use Duelist speed to get on
Duelist
there.
afterward.
He's double checking.
We'll need to slay or at least drive back the Sharpener here.
Now, if there is a commanding stride in here, but you can't play in fear of every single possible card. So
one success out of Farasa there.
No crits, so there's no overrun.
And one success there.
That's what he wants, at least.
So drive back with Duelist is going to allow Farasa to occupy that token.
Oof, this is exciting, though, because this Sharpener is going to be right next to him if he Duelist
can grant Grievous if needed.
Yeah, he goes in. 1, 2, 3, 4. So currently the wielder is 1 hex too far away.
With commanding stride or sidestep, we could see something different happen here.
Oh, Tristan, that sounds like some cool AOS stuff. Zach Requisite, we have a long list of things that we would love to be able to do. That would be amazing, though. This is kind of shoestrings and bubblegum holding us together right now. Thankfully, Skylar was able to really work some spectacular things to even make this possible. Volunteered a ton of his time to be able to bring this to you. He's not here to take the thanks for it because he's competing.
He's doing this tech support in between rounds for us while being a competitor and doing quite well himself. So pulling double duty and doing a great job on both ends is cool.
His brains will be pouring out of his ears by the time. Although I see him striding back to his seat, looking happy, smiling. He's playing one of the Italians right now. But back to this game. Here we go. Big man making moves towards supremacy. That's going to be his last activation. So I think he's saying, I'm gonna get in position. That tells me he's probably got it.
I'd imagine so, yeah. And then that will mean that unless Andy can find some way to get him off that token, I'm not sure he has a path to that. Supremacy is probably getting scored by Ben.
There's a long shot if he's. I mean, it'd be tough, but Ardorn has a spot to charge to and then use the +1 range ability.
Oh, that's fair.
He could ping, but he doesn't have to push. Well, he does have to push because the scripter's on guard. So, there it is.
Okay, so +1 range will be activated. Sharpener is giving flanked here, though.
Yeah,
so there will be a little bit of extra defense.
But that's looking good.
All right, here comes
a crit. Here will maintain the scoring for him.
And a crit.
There it is, a crit.
So no drive back.
This is that interesting thing where 1 damage will happen. But he. Oh.
You know what? We misread that entirely. Right. I had thought he was working to knock someone off a token, but
sure.
I suppose it looks like taking the Sharpener out was more valuable to him. Turning off that Grievous and keeping his fighters a little bit safer, and then his War Scroll teleport.
Yep.
And then that sidestep we saw, probably the play here. Yep, here it comes. And he's looking at it in his hand. But he's going to use a healing potion.
Okay. Interesting. Andy's board state looking quite good compared to heading into round 2 last time.
All the ghosts are pretty far away. Andy controls 3 tokens. All 3 of his fighters are full health.
So I talked about how I liked how long he held Raptors last time. We're seeing it going early this time. But I like that one quite a bit too because that Sharpener was going to be right next to someone, right next to Farasa, handing out Grievous and the wielder had positioned nicely to get a charge.
Illusory Fighter has put Bearer where he needs to be, so this does change a couple things.
That's all set up for the next turn. May or may not also have a push to get on there. I don't know if they're going to contest that one. Mixed feelings there because now Ardorn's got an attack that will inspire him without having to charge.
If I'm Andy, though, I want that sidestep for the charge to take that token before Ben does.
Andy's got the sidestep.
He's looking at it again. This is the third time he's pulled it out of his hand and taken a long stare at it.
Do you think we have? Do you think we have a standoff where he's worried about confusion coming out?
That could be the risk. Looks like he's decided to take it.
Oh, but he's got that available to him with.
Oh, that's true.
Yep, I stand alone. He doesn't even need it.
And so that would prevent the confusion being able to replace it. So supremacy is in Ben's hand.
Okay.
There's 3 more for him.
Nice.
It looks to be the only thing he scored, but it is still a big 3-point score. Iron Grasp we see coming out here, holding 2 and holding all in the territory. Slow advance. Excellent work there. Having 1 in no man's and 1 in enemy. That is I think a 4 glory end phase, and then he's moving his Cataclysm counter along. 6-4 if I'm reading correctly.
Both players keeping pace. Andy already with some upgrades out. Ben's going to have the chance to start upgrading his fighters here, drawing into new cards. Playing some out.
Great fortitude on the bearer of the block, and a 2 glory on the wielder, though I'm not sure which.
I am almost positive that's great strength. I think I can see the.
I see the Grievous symbol
mark
as well.
Yeah. So
and since the sharpener is gone and not able to grant Grievous, he'll have to find it his own way. Great strength seems to be what he's done. Ardorn picking up a couple of agile to give him a defensive reroll.
We never saw a resurrect last game. That is back on the table here. I don't think he would burn it on the sharpener. Now he's got his Grievous available, but we'll see. Some more expenditures. Counting up how much. Keen Eye. Who do we think is going to go on Ardorn? Who's going to have to? Nope. Varasa.
Varasa will get herself +1 dice now, making her pretty accurate, especially if she does end up inspiring. She'll have many dice to throw.
I see Driven by Pain and Agile on Ardorn. I like both those. Driven by Pain, can you remind me what that one is?
Driven by Pain from the Countdown to Cataclysm deck is... Insensate is the reaction ability. Immediately after this fighter is driven back,
Beautiful.
They heal this fighter.
Yep.
So it does,
beautiful,
in a sense, do some damage reduction, but it requires a drive back. And we'll note last game, on at least 2 occasions, Ben chose not to drive Andy's fighters back.
Right.
That was before this upgrade came out. So he does like his adjacency, so he may not even get the benefit of that, but it is there as a deterrent to driving back if we want Ardorn to stay on a token. Have Ben winning the roll-off here.
Gonna have to pick who he's going to curse or condemn. There we go.
Rasa is his choice.
Oh, right away. No hesitation going in on Ardorn.
Not even sure he's drawn his cards yet. He's just ready to go. The wielder does have Grievous. And now there is a flanked condition here. So it'll be 2 hammers with Grievous and flanked. Crit and a success. And on only 1 defense with a reroll, I think the only thing he can try and do is see
get
if he
the
can
crit to
prevent the overrun.
And
it's not there for him. And the reroll didn't do it
either time.
So that is going to be 4 damage on Ardorn. Now, if he drives him back, he will get to heal 1.
That's true. I don't think he needs to.
I don't think he wants to. I think he's going to leave him right where he is.
Andy, once again, getting a fighter punished for getting into enemy territory.
I mean, I think there are multiple play lines with the Headsman's Curse, but counterpunch into elite aggro is one of their best advantages. And we've seen now across 2 games that it really is a dangerous thing to put a big fighter in their territory because they will eat you alive.
We were looking away. Andy picked up another glory. I'm presuming that he needed to actually stay on that. So the head games of saying, if you drive me back,
I'll heal. Yeah. And then since I'm staying there, then I've gotten unassailable.
Yeah, love to see it.
However, Branching Fate did come in. He was the underdog, so he needed only to roll 2 dice.
We can hear Ben here saying that he's forgotten the underdog condition twice already in this tournament.
So learning across the course of his games, as we all step into 2nd edition and figure some things out together, underdog being one of the bigger new things to think about in this edition. Knowing that you're behind and that you can score Branching Fate with only 2 dice can make it a much more reliable card, considering you remember that condition.
All right. I haven't scoped Andy's hand too much. If he's got hidden
He did
paths,
hold sidestep over from last round. I did
Yep.
see that. Now, again, we have cannot be flanked or surrounded is being applied to the wielder of the blade.
I can only assume that he's thinking that Farasa might be coming in to try and start doing some damage. That seems
reasonable. He did
yeah.
give her a plus dice
Yep.
upgrade.
Ardorn may have a play where he tries to get out of dodge. I don't know if he's if hidden paths are in hand. I'd consider a charge with him or make your attack sidestep and then get
I would
out of
say
there.
yes, because you do want to inspire while you're in enemy territory before you leave,
Yep,
giving
that's a
you
good
2
point.
shields.
Pick that up and then get your 3 bounty out of there.
We also see the 3 damage attack upgrade in Andy's hand. So if you wanted to, I wouldn't put it on Ardorn because you'll die, but he's going to
Violent
use
blasts. I think
everybody
this is
within 1 of that
wow.
stagger is going to get
Okay.
pushed. So both ghosts are going to be moving if he wants them to.
Yaroslav, a mighty swing enjoyer from first edition.
Ben opening his own bottle of Baja Blast. Thomas brought that to him this morning, and we continue to represent my hometown drink on this stream.
Still at 7-5. This is
Andy
another tight
thinking
one. What another blinder of a game here.
Andy doing a lot of thinking about where exactly he wants to push
Stagger
these
him.
fighters, staggering the bearer and moving the wielder further away from Ardorn.
Yeah, so the bearer is actually going to have a hard time landing this hit. Ardorn may be feeling okay about staying here. He attacks, gets inspired. Then he'll be on 2 block with a reroll. And the bearer, I think, is just swinging in on 2 hammers.
Hammers, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, that's fairly comfortable. Farasa just spectating for now.
Andy keeps looking back at sidestep.
A lot of upgrades, actually. I think it's all upgrades and sidestep.
They got 1 glory left.
Emberwatch hand.
Not a lot of things he can do. He's got to decide which one he really wants in this moment. Alternatively, he could charge with Farasa now and inspire her.
Mm-hmm.
Staying in enemy territory for this. Oh, not. That prevents.
As long as he started the
started in enemy territory.
Yep.
Okay.
This will still go.
So yes, Ardorn has now flipped over to his inspired side. It looks like he just took a move.
Interesting.
I'm not seeing any move to roll dice. Yep, there it is.
I wonder if that's. I'm going to go here and then I'm going to take a whole bunch of shots at anyone. You know, like basically threaten that bearer of the block. Say, if you want to get on there, we're going to keep shooting at you. I don't know.
And it's possible that the sidestep that she continues to look at is for when Farasa vacates that token. Oh, never mind.
Wow.
Really just wants to protect Ardorn for now.
He's gonna give himself flank for that as well. I like this is a kind of thematic bodyguard, you know, stagger back. I'll cover you. Oh.
Landing stride.
What do we think we're getting out of that?
The wielder of the blade into a better position for later. Lure of battle bringing him in.
Yep.
So that said, Farasa will still provide flanked, but the bearer will have it as well. And now spending a glory to give accurate to the bearer.
Continue to improve the odds.
The scripter of the sentence.
The scripter does have the range to come over and shoot over the top here.
He would be leaving a token to do that.
Yeah.
Which I suppose is what he feels he needs to do.
He really wants that 3 bounty.
So the inspired scripter, that attack is 3 swords. 3 swords, and we will be flanked for this with 1 reroll.
Oh my goodness!
4, so
what's the reroll going to do?
1 success, and then 1 reroll from accurate.
I think they're figuring out he shouldn't have rolled 4 dice.
Now they're
deciding how to handle
some negotiations about how to handle this situation. Do we re-roll all 3? I'm imagining that's what we're going to do.
Andy making the correct choice, saying just re-roll everything.
Roll all 3. Now 1 success still, so realistically didn't affect anything. And the re-roll.
1 success.
1 success.
Wow.
Hardorn on 2 shield now.
Oh,
2 failures.
Oh, he's got a reroll.
Has a reroll. Needs a shield.
Not it.
And does not have a support on this attack. And that is the end of Ardorn Flame Runner, who is worth 3 bounty. What a crucial dice roll.
Both players knowing exactly how important that was.
It also gets him take the head, or strike the head, my apologies. Having the leader taken out of action there is another glory.
Launching him into the lead now, 9-7.
Well, seeing as twice last game Ben was defeated by a crucial roll, he's overdue for his turn to get that lucky swing. I'm not sure how well positioned he is for the end phase right now.
No, that doesn't look good.
Taking Ardorn off the table could still be a good play.
Yep. Barasa is in neutral territory, so she does not have the ability to inspire with whatever she chooses to do with this activation. The big refund on glory, though, means that he can clear out a lot of that hand we were seeing.
After Ardorn is slain, that glory is returned to his pool, and he now begins stacking upgrades on Farasa. I believe he is holding loaded for bear. So he has now 3 upgrades on her and can score that in the end phase should she survive, which I imagine she will.
Many an upgrade going on for us.
Ben already saying loaded for bear out loud. He knows it's coming. I'll tell you from my own personal experience, having played a fair number of Canadians who drop across the border into Seattle, they're all really good. I mean, you know that just by reputation. Canada did win the National Underworlds trophy last year at Worlds.
They did indeed.
And unclear if that's going to happen again. I'm not sure where the standings currently are, but I have learned to fear the Canadians.
And in case you
today giving a great example of why that's the case.
In case you're ever
flooded with upgrades right now.
Holding that 3 damage, the damage yourself attack.
You may not be able to see it because it's black, but at the very top of the board there is a small black dog, which represents who the underdog is. Kind of cute looking there. But Andy does have that dog in him, as they say. So don't count him out just yet.
Even Andy having to double check how many upgrades he's got. Oh, going after the wielder.
And choosing not to be in enemy territory after means that more difficult inspire later on, unless she can use the drive back and then later the end of round push that the Emberwatch have.
Yeah.
Likely choosing that 3 damage, hurt yourself.
That's what I'd go with.
1 success.
Uh-oh.
No
nothing from the wielder.
So that'll be 3 damage on the wielder, 1 damage on Farasa, and a drive back. Now the question is, does he choose to use that end of round push and place himself right next to the wielder of the blade to open the following round?
He's got a lot of pushes available because Duelist still got to pop off.
That's true.
He's figuring out where the drive back needs to happen.
So that he can then Duelist. Yeah. So that he can then perhaps use... Oh, he's leaving territory again. Andy continuing to defy my expectations. I just, having played a lot of Farstriders in my day and seeing these as the next evolution of Farstrider.
Perfect cut scoring for Andy.
Always wanting to be in enemy territory, and Andy refusing to do that. perfect cut does score him a surge there.
The wielder, there must be a great strength in there because the wielder is taking 4 damage.
Currently 9-9. There is no dog. You can see the dog has moved to the center of the board.
Yurik with his range, I think he can arrange. I think he can set up a shot on the wielder that would kill. It's not a high percentage.
Yeah,
and,
blocked hex might end up coming into play though.
Yeah,
which is what Ben was probably thinking when he picked this board.
There's a chance for an inspire on the bearer of the block.
He is the condemned fighter from long before. Yeah. Yes. So 2 hammers here. 1 crit.
There's a crit.
And only 1 defense on Farasa unless she has
unless there's some defensive upgrades in that huge
5
pile.
on her, so I don't know what exactly she's got going on, but so not enough. That's 2 damage on Farasa.
Just trading haymakers right now.
Does he drive her back? He does. Inspiring the bearer of the block, who now has 3 hammers, 2 damage with Grievous. Aggressive defender there.
Oh. Scored for being in. So Farasa retreating in the enemy territory opened up the
opportunity for them to take that token.
Helpful Canadian trivia in the chat from Impresley Snipes if anybody needs to improve their world knowledge. I don't know, the upside on a Yurik charge here, he can get a line onto the wielder. It will give away flanked. But if a charge here will then leave either one the ability, he'll be charged out.
Well, the wielder being on only 1 wound remaining.
I think it. I mean, in my eyes, it's probably worth the attempt.
Yurik uninspired, throwing 2 hammers on his range 4 shot could potentially against 2 dodge. That's better odds than neutral. Take down.
2 hammers into 2 dodge. It'll be if Yurik's doing it. There's going to be a flanked. Looks like he's not going to go. Oh,
2 hammers
he's
into
using
2
the
dodge
extra range. Check it out. He's used his whole war scroll.
44% success rate on this attack. 2 hammers into 2 dodge.
All right, this is another big one. And this is he's using the war scroll ability to go out to 5 range, and in so doing, he's managed to avoid being required to enter a position where he's flanked, which was the one I was seeing. Here we go.
2 hammers. 2 crits. 2 crits. High five it across the table.
Ben.
That's not over yet. There are 2 dodge. Ben has the chance. 1 in 36. It could happen. But not today.
No, that's not it.
Oh, Andy again.
My goodness,
with
both leaders going down.
Relief.
Incredible.
3 glory. Giant swing. And as we head into the 3rd round, I can imagine that's going to be something Andy looks back on for a couple of days.
And I guess we'll go even further. We will not see a resurrect here. Wow, what an exchange.
5 range.
Yeah.
Critically important here.
Strength of the war scroll, huh?
People looking at that Emberwatch war scroll might want to give it a second look because there are many tools in there. And Andy showing you don't have to be in enemy territory to make things work. Ben passing power. I think he's pretty short on options right now.
As to the question in the chat, it looks like from Geimer Fakathian with about, it says, will be the 3rd game today. I think there's a little bit of a translation issue. I am going to guess it's when will be the 3rd game, 3rd match today, because these guys have possibly one more game depending on how much. Our next match is scheduled for 1600 local, which would put us at
just 2 hours from
UK
now.
time. Yeah,
just 2 hours from now should be the 3rd match. There will be a 3rd match today. Looks like Discorporate being used. Snag
just a move is all I needed.
which will give Ben slow advance if that's what he needs. We know he's already scored supremacy.
I think
Now
he did
does
that.
hold every token in enemy territory
He
as
does,
well,
yeah.
so he's got the opportunity for Iron Grasp as well. So this game is not entirely out of hand.
Yurik's going to have one more activation, and he is charged out. So maybe Yurik continues. I don't know. What is it? You think you're more important to shift the bearer or
he doesn't
the
get
scripter?
slow advance if either of them gets pushed.
Okay.
But he will get Iron Grasp if he holds 2 and all in one territory. So either fighter being shifted will do it. The bearer is inspired now, but I think 2 dodge for either fighter. But the bearer is staggered, so I'm imagining it would be Farasa to take this shot.
Looks like he may be about to take a move. Okay.
Presumably there's something in Andy's hand that needs that to happen. But
you have to imagine
ceding control of those tokens to Ben must not be worried about whatever end score might be coming.
Right. Or he may just figure if as long as he keeps pace with his own, he can stay ahead.
And he's setting up for an Inspire in the 3rd round, so maybe that's the play.
He is, and this is, I think, the I Stand Alone maybe
Or
happening.
it could be Duelist after his activation, and then I Stand Alone could put him on that token. If that's
Does Duelist go after an activation or after an attack?
Duelist might actually be an attack, you're right. It's already burned a sidestep, as we know. Checking the text on Duelist, it is after an attack you push the fighter. So
yeah.
That would have been the I Stand Alone push.
Yeah. It does look like the bearer does inspire to 2 dodge, so that might have been... Ooh, even more defense coming out. Although...
Rasa now has defense equal to the Cataclysm counter, which is currently at 1, but soon will be at 2. So she'll have 2 defense even before inspiring. In case the bearer gets any cute ideas about turning around and getting her at the start of the round. It's just hedging against losing the roll-off, I'd imagine.
That's a good call.
So now
that's
the
a great
Cataclysm
point.
counter has moved up now. I think we're into 2, potentially into 3. So there's Iron Grasp. And there's Keep Chopping. So
loaded
3.
for bear. Did we just tie it up?
Oh yeah, I guess he didn't have slow advance. I'm not sure if it's in Ben's deck. I never saw it last game.
Oh wow, we're tied up.
We are tied at 13 going into the 3rd round.
I
have to say Andy's in a slightly stronger position, but I can't guarantee that things will work out for him depending on the results of this roll-off.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the bear has a route to kill Farasa. That's a 2 bounty kill. And the bear is not in danger of getting killed anytime. Well, no, that's not true because Farasa's got the 3 damage.
Farasa does have the 3 damage attack, and though she would die if she used it. No, she would not.
No, she would not.
Wound.
Yeah.
And
she must
he's
have
already
great
used
strength.
Raptor Strike though, so there's no ability to put out that 4th damage without access to Grievous, which with so many upgrades on her, I'm not sure. I think I see the tip of Sepsimus's spear down there.
Yeah, I think so.
I think
because
she actually does have Grievous.
Yeah. She laid 4 on the wielder last turn.
Plus 1 dice.
Yeah.
And 4 damage on a 2 hammers attack.
Yeah.
So it's possible that she could take on the bearer. So whoever wins this roll off, it's going to be pretty crucial to seeing what happens next.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, right, because they both have access to a decisive or potentially decisive attack. Now, if the wielder goes and misses, not wielder, the bearer goes and misses, then Ben's in a real bad place. That's a range 1 guy that the Emberwatch would be more than happy to retreat from.
And swords beats hammers in this edition, so Ben has the priority.
Okay.
We'll see if the bearer takes that charge. I'd have to imagine that's what he's thinking.
I don't think we've seen Hidden Paths yet.
I don't recall.
And now I'm talking though in my head. I'm operating as if the Emberwatch is in the lead. It's tied up, so I don't know if the Emberwatch can afford to retreat. I was thinking of Farasa retreating to a safe spot, but that's
I think
not necessarily. I
don't know for sure. It does depend on what cards are in each player's hand, but you've got to think that they're both staring at the other one's better fighter, and whoever goes down first is probably ending up losing this game. So Ben having the first activation here, you have to imagine he's going to take it. Looking through his hand, making that decision now.
Both players taking a while to think it over. This is a crucial point in the game.
So he's condemning Yurik as the only fighter eligible for that. And now, I guess he's making an attack with the scripter.
Yep.
There's success.
Crit success.
And that's more
there we go.
Effort. So Ben must really want those tokens, which is why he's chosen not to have the bearer leave.
It could also, well, yeah. I wonder if he doesn't want to be the first person to flinch. Here's the thing: if Arasa chooses to use that axe that damages, if she chooses to damage herself, she'll put herself in kill range from a counter strike from the scripter.
True. Whether she kills the bearer or not.
Yeah, that looks like a drive back to Yurik.
Interesting
what do you
choice
think?
Since Yurik can reach him now.
Based on our conversation throughout, it sounds like you just go in and go for it, huh?
Yeah, that's how I play.
Yeah.
But as we said yesterday, there's a reason that I'm at the commentator's booth and not competing in this tournament.
Well, it's the funny thing is that I wouldn't, and I'm also sitting here, so there must be a third option.
Comment in the chat, the bearer has great fortitude. That's a good call out. He, in fact, does have great fortitude. I do remember that from earlier in the game. That's the first upgrade placed on him. So the bearer of the block actually sitting on 5 wounds, which means Farasa cannot take him down in one shot. So we'll see whether she chooses to use that self-damaging. She has. She's taken a damage here. So be rolling 2 hammers normally, but I believe she has a plus dice upgrade. Looking for hammers.
Just the one.
So the bearer rolling 2 defense here. Got 2 crits! Another high five across the table. Both players now getting their share of double crit in the right moment. You love to see it. No attack damage, no drive back for Asa on 1 wound remaining.
Makes me feel like this is probably going to a game 3.
It might. Just might. I mean, we have yet to see what happens. There's still several activations left, but...
Yep.
Oh, and an unassailable surge. Ben is looking in a pretty good spot right now.
Andy choosing not to use the duelist here.
No, he probably wants to be in range for another melee attack.
If he charges out.
And even if not, to be flanked if Yurik does something. And he's spending some glory. Giving Yurik. Unclear what that is. It's a green colored card. Let's see if I can find it. Sharp reflexes. This fighter has +1 save to a maximum of 2.
Fair enough.
Now a 2 save fighter. 2 shields for him.
Sharpen points
with cleave.
Got to be coming on the wielder.
Making things a little tough because Andy spent a lot of time giving himself plus defense dice. But cleave cuts right through those, so he'll be looking for crits where he can get them.
Channel the power of the Godsworn Hunt there.
Absolutely.
Grundon.
They didn't bring them forward into this new edition because it would be too powerful. I mean, that much is obvious. That's 2 hammers. I believe is 2 successes. And
not
cleave,
a double crit.
That's not enough. So down she goes. 2 glory and bounty given to Ben. He is looking at a powerful position now because the bearer did not even charge.
That is true. And Yurik is only putting out 1 damage at range and 2 up close.
Has 4 health left, so it'll take 2 activations at least to chew through that. But Ben has a decent lead right now. He's up by 4. Holds 2 tokens. I'm not sure what Andy is going to be able to do to deal with that, having used all 3 of his single-use War Scroll abilities. Joseph in the chat saying that he loves the new crit changes as they're so much better now. I think at first I was pretty shocked to see that, but having seen it in effect, playing a couple games myself, watching several here, it is nice to say that crits do matter, but they're not the ultimate thing now.
Yeah.
I think overall a really good change for the health of the game. As much getting used to as it's going to take, I think overall it's a net benefit to how this game is played.
I think so. They're exciting, but it's not it's not negating, you know, as much as it used to. So been having a little chat with Jan Willie, coming in saying hey to the streams table.
I'd like to imagine that Ben's sudden surge and ability to raise his score, come back from the brink of defeat, force a game 3. It happened right about the time he opened that Baja Blast. Painted in the Baja Blast scheme, in fact. I think we may have unlocked the Pacific Northwest secret.
I think we're seeing a focus come from Andy here because I just saw Supremacy get tossed.
Well, he can't score it now.
Right.
So Andy making the best of a bad situation, seeing what he can't find.
I'm just throwing out card ideas as I was seeing that. It'd be interesting if they ever produce an upgrade that increased the bounty on a fighter. Right?
It'd be interesting. You know, the old version of the Headsman's Curse having the ability to take a fighter to 5 wounds.
Yep, exactly.
In order to get the Inspire, but also to get extra bounty out of a large fighter.
Yeah.
Would have been interesting to see something like that come in. Now, their War Scroll doesn't have it, but who's to say what's in future Rivals decks?
Totally.
That is a very intriguing idea.
And I'm even thinking that you could use it on a friendly, you know, increase your ability to score Supremacy.
That's
or
true,
something
yeah.
like that.
Imagine resurrecting fighters now worth 0 makes that hard for, say, Sepulchral Guard, as we saw.
Right.
But that would be something that would help them bring that back. So there's a reroll. We have
2
still
successes.
Only 1 success. Oh no, 2 successes on the.
Yurik's rolling
attack dice, which is not valid. A good-natured laugh out of both players, and there's 1 success. Not really a lot of utility to driving back here, so he'll keep him where he is. Just put that 1 extra damage on and see if the bearer can't finish him off later. Having Grievous on his War Scroll now that he's inspired.
I did see hidden paths in hand. I don't know if there's anything amazing, but could be for some mitigation.
You can get to an edge hex, then maybe. We know he's already played a sidestep, though.
Yeah. I saw Andy pointing. Did you want to drive me back to here on the edge? Ben laughing and saying, nope, the other way. Got an upgrade out?
That is great speed. So Yurik might be trying to make a break for it.
Run for the hills.
Only 3 move, but now he has 4 move with great speed. Not sure where he's trying to go with that. Perhaps just away from the bearer. Closer to the scripter of the sentence. Maybe he makes a charge. See if he can stand on token 5 and put some damage out on the scripter for fun. And make it so the bearer can't really reach him. Might be his best angle here. Andy holding
that
by
does
the
actually
numbers,
work.
So
that is a pretty good spot. I like that. I like that thought. Doesn't even need to shoot. He's got a decent melee attack. Something I tend to overlook on his
Not inspired, but it's still not a bad attack. 4 move.
Again?
Heading likely towards token 5.
1 hex at a time.
And he's probably counting the distance between himself and the bearer each time.
Yeah.
Double checking that's where he wants to land.
Here's a question. I can tell he's asking about flying, right?
Can you fly through that with flying? And
the answer is no, you cannot.
Yeah, and Ben appears to know that, so good on him studying his warband when I didn't. So Andy comfortable where he landed. That's probably the best spot for him to be.
And he needs. I mean, Andy obviously he's working on protecting himself from the bearer, so he obviously will not be doing a drive back here if he
hammers his 2 successes. So 2 dodge here.
This is presumably the melee attack for 2 damage.
Only 1 dodge won't be enough. That'll be 2 damage unless there's some card that can change that. But
2 damage.
2 damage is still 2 damage. Like Andy is not driving him back. Ben asking if he wants to push him. Andy declining. And putting
that stagger token that just came in is Ben remembering that the inspired scripter has stagger.
Stagger and did hit him earlier. By the numbers, Andy is playing that to draw another card. He only holds one, but seeing if there's any better thing in his power deck, he can get to salvage this for himself. I do wonder now if Ben regrets choosing the block tech side of the board.
Mm.
You know, he may have taken that in an attempt to cut down on the ranged efficacy, but he has instead prevented his game-winning charge from going off here. Fusion.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, Ben. I guess.
Oh!
Oh my gosh, both players looking over at us laughing. This is amazing. How long was he holding that card? One less. Actually, was that the card he drew?
Oh, that'd
by
be
the
funny.
numbers? Can you imagine? Skin of his teeth here.
He's
that
still,
changes the flavor of this game.
Well, he's still 4 in the hole
right now.
He's still 4 in the hole, but
yeah, but he was about to be 4 in the hole and obliterated.
and obliterated, yeah.
And we're just incorporating out of here. Not interested in whatever you have to offer. Melee attack. I don't want it. Get me out of here.
Scripter saying this whole situation is way too confusing. We're getting out of here.
I've been confused twice now in the span of one power step. I gotta go. Both players laughing at the table. This is great. Looking at Andy's power cards, I'm not sure he has much that's going to be useful to him. Settle in and hold the line. Without real opportunity to be driven back, those are useless for him. End phase cards don't look particularly helpful either. This might be going to a game 3.
As a reminder, we are 3-hour rounds. So by my count, we still have an hour and 15. These guys will have a healthy amount of time to play that game 3 of this match.
Yeah, hidden paths, can't use it. Can't score some of his hold stuff without 2 fighters. Countdown tracker is high, but not able to get records out of that. Taking a focus action and getting Sally forth, which is not beneficial to him now.
No.
Old treasure token. He was never leaving. He always wanted that, he says.
I think we get 2 on either side.
By our count, that puts Ben up by 4. So we're going to a game 3.
Oh, gentlemen, here we go. Game 3.
The player's recording the score for later. Oh. What a game, right?
That was fun. That was really fun. I loved the wielder going down. We're like, that's probably the game.
It was not at all the game. No. Okay. Both players going to the restroom. Understandable.
Yeah.
We are on camera right now. Come on over here. Get in here. All right. Here's Ben. Here's Andy. 2 Canadian heroes. I was just telling the stream earlier how afraid I am of your entire nation. I hope everyone watching at home understands why I say that, because phenomenal play out of you both. We love you too. We love that you are giving us the game of the decade right now.
It's amazing.
Oh my God. Go to the restroom. Have fun.
Yeah.
You've got plenty of time for game 3, but we are excited to see what you've got cooked up.
Wow.
A lot of fun.
Trotting off. They got plenty of time. This is going to be great.
I love the camaraderie too. They're both having a lot of fun. I mean, obviously it's tense. This is Worlds. You want to advance.
Yeah.
But they're both really enjoying themselves, and it's a lot of fun to watch as a result.
Yeah, it's great. We're lucky. We've been lucky with some real good games on the stream.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you've got to imagine that almost every game here at the tournament is played by, obviously, Grand Clash winning top-tier players, some of the most experienced, most talented individuals we have in this community.
Yeah.
But given a certain matchup, dice going a certain way, things just don't work out. But
yeah.
Most games should be good, and we've gotten a lot of good ones for ourselves here.
Yeah, everyone I talk to, they'll be telling me what happened in their game and that sort of thing. Like if they lost, I'm like, well, look at who you lost to. That's okay. You can't feel bad if they win. Like, I can't believe, look at that, you beat this guy. That's like every game, right? Like
one of the things they said at the beginning, the opening ceremonies here, they made an announcement that was kind of tailored towards the 40K AOS players.
Yeah.
They said, many of you got here by winning a Grand Clash equivalent for their game.
Yeah.
You know, possibly 100-man event.
Yeah.
You were the winner. That's why you were invited to this World Championship. Some of you today are going to go 0-8.
Yeah.
That's the nature of this.
It'll probably be the first time you've
the
ever
first
gone
time in your
0-8.
life you've ever gone 0-8. You're used to going 8-0 back home. And that's going to be different for you. And so I think that's going to be an experience for some of the players we have here. Underworlds being a game that's very competitive.
Yep.
Competitive players using their skill expression, winning more games than they lose.
Yeah.
If you come from, you're the big fish in a small pond.
Yeah.
And you come here, this is a Shark Tank.
Yeah.
The kind of guys who you're playing against, you get 2-0'd by a guy, don't feel sad because look who did that to you.
Yeah.
That's someone who's a national champion where they come from.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no easy games here at all, as we've seen across the course.
I was talking to the returning champion Aman yesterday, and he had taken an 0-2 loss, and he was a little bit shaken. Like, in
his defense, it's been a couple of years since that's happened to him.
Well, that's exactly what I told him. I said, hey, listen, like, not a lot of people can say that it took 10 matches before they lost a match at Worlds, and that's when he's like, yeah, I suppose that's right. But he said exactly that. I'm just not used to ever getting 0-2'd. And I'm like, well.
Yeah, because every once in a while someone can peel a game off of him. Not that I've ever done that. But yeah, you usually don't end up taking a match, and if you do, he got a game off of you. So it was a rare experience for him. He did bounce back and win his next match. I don't know how he's doing right now, but
that was another Clash of Titans. It was him and Val were going at it. So we got our competitors returning to the table.
Okay. No more smiling, Ben says. It's game time.
I don't believe him.
Okay, so we're getting ready for Game 3. To recap, anyone who stepped away to watch the preview show or is just joining us late, we are watching Ben and Andy, both from Canada. Ben is playing the Headsman's Curse, an organized play warband for the Grand Alliance kits that you'll see previewed tomorrow. Andy is playing the Emberwatch from the Emberguard core box.
Yep.
Really interesting matchup. The way that they built their decks, they're both playing Emberstone Sentinels. They're fighting over treasure tokens. They've both been playing a lot of stuff in the middle of the field. Lots of cat and mouse back and forth.
Yep.
Both players at one game apiece. And the winner of this third game will win the match and have a pretty good chance of getting out of the pool stage and heading towards the top cut tomorrow.
Yeah. They're both playing with knives to each other's throats because there's these huge end phase scores potential from both decks. And they're having until they see it come out or discard, which they're not doing. They're holding on to them deep into the game.
We're hearing now Ben started playing Underworlds in March of this year. So what's that now? 7 months experience?
Yeah.
I will say that Andy started playing just over a year ago. So these two players already very new to this game, remarkably talented as we've seen across the course of this game. So if you see them back at Worlds next year, just hold on to your pants because you don't know what you're going to see. But powerful talent out of these both. Two Canadian players, one Canadian will get a win. So no matter what happens, nationally they're happy. And I'll tell you what, I'm pretty happy right now too. This has been a heck of a match.
Yeah. I mean, 7 months, 7 years. I don't know.
Well, we've all been playing 7 days in second edition, so I think we're basically even now.
Yeah, it's all even out. All right.
They're getting ready to cut some decks, so I guess let's flip the feed back to the table and watch the action.
Go ahead and zero out the glory. Make sure that no one's retaining a benefit from the previous one.
Andy checking his watch to make sure they have enough time to finish this, but they've got a little over an hour till the end of the round, so they should be able to make it happen.
Yeah.
Not bad. You already did that. I read that backwards. I thought it was game 1, round 3.
Appropriate to have Canada double featured on the streaming table here, given how heavily they have been represented in Worlds last year and this year.
Yeah, multiple Canadian events giving out 3 tickets to Worlds this year. Pretty good community advocacy out of them. But I mean, if you see the strength of their players, it makes sense that they would be sending so many.
Yeah.
I think probably outside of Poland, there's no nation that has such a concentration of talented players. I say that knowing that America won the trophy last year. Just want to make that clear. Don't get too big for your britches, Canada.
We're Canada's britches, right?
They're our hat, and I won't have it any other way.
You can see that some of the tables have finished with a 2-0 because we have players up and around and moving.
Yeah, there is a painting competition going on right next to our table, so some people getting to look at some of those gorgeous warbands and some of the gorgeous play going on this table as well. So we may accumulate a bit of a crowd. So if you hear some background noise, I apologize. We'll try and do our best to thin the herd where we can.
Andy saying, "Be gone with you, Block Texas."
You know, they almost saved him last game, but I think it did kind of frustrate his early game efforts. And
I think so.
Being able to make that choice himself, he said he didn't want anything to do with that. Choosing the 9s orientation again for the 3rd consecutive game, both players having the opportunity to stack that center of the board with treasure tokens. I would imagine we'd see something similar again.
Do you think? Yeah. Do you think we're gonna get 2 in the middle again?
Yes.
There they are.
Yes, I do think that's what's going to happen.
Here's what's interesting about this. They are both next to
the staggers.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So we do have.
We know Andy is playing that card where he can push fighters next to stagger.
Yeah. Andy's got a pocket distraction now.
Great opportunity to use that there. And last game, using it on 2 fighters at the same time could have been very powerful. Didn't work out for him, but you never know what'll happen in game 3. Matthew from Set the Tempo in the chat taking offense to my American exceptionalism, but I do not apologize.
Jules, we'd love to be able to do that. That is a little outside our scope. We don't have any mobile camera possibilities, so we're not going to be able to do that. What I might try to do is when we hear what maybe the top finishes are, we'll see if we get some photos of that and at least link them, put them somewhere where they can be seen. Although certainly I imagine GW will also be putting those up. We should say for folks who are interested in the standings for Worlds, as the weekend goes on, Warhammer community has some links to the overall standings, where the countries are getting their points from, and all that sort of thing. And as a reminder, there's all sorts of ways people like if you are best in faction, you're earning points. If you're best general, you're earning points. Best painted, you're earning points. There's all kinds of ways to be earning points for your nation, including even if you're fighting in that 0-7 versus 0-7, figuring out who's going to have to go 0-8. Even if you're going 0-8 glory differential, any of those points, any of that strength of schedule that you work out. So even if your weekend didn't have you battling for that top spot, you can be helping your country.
Yeah, and that's true to be across all 4 games represented here: Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, and Kill Team. Those are also accruing national points, so regardless of how your favorite country is doing on Underworlds, things may shake out differently based on the other game systems. So every person in this tournament hall across every game is fighting for their country's standings. Each glory point does matter, no matter how inconsequential your individual match might feel to you.
We've got Captain Murder just off screen here. We've got a new person in the seat here real quick.
Hey.
Captain Murder himself, going to be providing a little bit of extra commentary.
Yeah, thanks, Davey. Some interesting facts about these 2 players especially. They're both involved in the transport of livestock. Andy is a buyer for A&W Burgers. He actually does get out to Alberta from Vancouver periodically to visit some of the beef farms. So it's really great to have some of these guys be able to travel. Ben is a driver going to the ski resort, and as many of you can understand, God, fat people ski. So that livestock transport is a pretty big industry in our area. In both these cases, these two, you can see how they have some exemplary paint jobs. They're and no joke, they are two of the most talented people that we could ever ask for. I am exceptionally proud to be able to play with them.
Ben and Andy feeling the eyes of their captain boring into the side of their heads. Oh, bring that mic a little closer here.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
There we go.
Matt, we were trying to.
Is Jules and Matt both on this?
Yeah, we got.
Oh, geez, we got Peter here too. I got to tell you, you have just about the greatest audience that you could ever ask for in this, except for those jerks from Battle.
Oh, we got a crit. You're not able to exact some return fire here. Yurik once again being the one who is condemned. You're not going to be able to.
Okay.
So we having been playing your own game, Derek, you probably are concluding based on the fact that they're still playing. They're tied up 1-1 here.
Okay.
We had just two amazing games so far. Andy taking the first, and Ben taking out the second.
That's awesome. No, you know what? I've got to say, it's been an exceptional amount of talent that's been here. If I can give you some background to how my day's gone. Started off playing against Sebastian from Poland, who was here last year. He made top 8. He's one of the nicest guys in the entire world, not just playing Underworlds, but he's awesome. He beat me last year, so because he's such a nice guy, I don't want to glorify my revenge, but yeah, I got revenge. So that was nice. But then there's two Dans in our pool. There's Italy Dan and English Dan. I played them next, and I got double danned.
Double danned.
I got double danned.
You hate to see it.
No, they both, and I'll be right honest with everybody. They called the meta much better than I did, and they knew that they would be coming against some aggro drum, and boy, did they both have plans for that. So I would really like to tell everybody, when you're coming to one of these big things, doing the research ahead of time, listening to podcasts like What the Hex, and especially Battle Mallet. And I know I was throwing some shade at them earlier. Battle Mallet's actually the most popular podcast in our area because of the way that they will review all the new warbands. It's actually really good for it. And obviously, everybody who's playing listens to all the podcast guys out there, because they've come in with their plans and how they want to play. But boy, English Dan and Italy Dan really did a good job. My last game was just against Kairos here. Oh, I love to death. I talk with him all the time trying to build decks. First time we've gone to play in person. We're
going to jump in. We got a hidden paths, move Farasa into territory, now using a +1 range on a melee attack. Rolling a crit success. This is a huge thing. She's going to inspire. Andy has been pushing this play, diving into territory in the other match, in the other games in this match.
Yep.
And he's gotten punished for it before, but now he's real far away from the wielder. So I think this one may pay off for him. It's interesting that the Headsman's curse are so split up here. This may work to the Emberwatch's advantage, but a big attack there.
I think it really will. Because the Emberwatch really do thrive on getting everything spread out.
Yeah.
And being able to operate on the other side. The entirety of the Headsmen's is to try and get everybody together, be able to get those supports and those specialized supports in place.
Yeah.
So great, great tactical play by Andy there. I'm curious if this is part of a plan that we'll see Ben come in with some staggered play. Is he setting a trap?
Yeah. Andy's got a route to finish off the scripter and close out any chance for inspire from this round on. Oh, we got a discorporate coming in. So in an action, Farasa is going to be able to charge out of that spot, but the wielder is going to be able to follow. And he's taking a look through if he wants to respond with power cards. You got to imagine that Farasa is not just going to sit there. You're going to at least make the wielder. Now, the Emberwatch has 2 activations left. So it's clear that the headsmen are going to be one more, and that's going to come from the wielder. And Andy's got to decide how does he. Oh. We're making sure we show our best side to the camera here. Now, Farasa could try and go for the kill on the scripter here.
Yeah, looks like that's what he's doing.
The only thing I don't like about that is it's giving the wielder a charge onto a treasure token. So I'm hoping that he's got something to go around with that. That is 2 successes. He's going to need a stand fast, or he's going to need... we got 1 out of the tray. Oh, it's just the 1 dice, right? He's not inspired. That's it. Big. How many times have you played each of these guys, Derek?
You know what, Ben? I bet we've played each other every week, at least once for the last year.
Look at that, Farasa using the
there you go.
Using the stride to get all the way across the board, get away from the wielder.
Yeah. Good move.
Yeah,
on that.
So Ben's a regular, huh?
Yeah, Ben's a regular at our local meetups, which is awesome. He's you'd almost still consider him a rookie. He's been around maybe about that 1 year point. So Ben's definitely one of the guys that we hold up that we are pound for pound the best team in the world. You know,
I will say your team is tight. You guys are you guys have the same script because Andy made sure to point out to me that Ben had only been playing since March.
That's right. Yep. No, you know, Andy here, he was one of the guys that reached out to me right after last Worlds, who really wanted to dedicate himself to getting a ticket, being able to come out here. Yeah. So we got to play a lot of games online. You know what? He's such a nice dude. It's really fun for it, and we were able to get in quite a few as he was prepping for his tournaments and eventually getting his ticket.
Nice.
Now I'm wondering, did you see the little dogs that they're passing back and forth there?
We did. We pointed it out. It's dark, so it's hard to see for the viewers, but we always know who the underdog is.
There you go. So that's Ben's underdog. Now I personally like to use either Riptooth or Karnak for my underdog. And
no Grawl, huh?
No, Grawl's too good a boy.
I'm loving positioning from Andy here because he set himself up for I stand alone. Is going to bring Farasa onto number 4, which will be able to score him a supremacy. And he's still got another activation. Ben locking in his own supremacy with the hold the line, I think. Yeah, hold the line. So nobody's going to get driven back in the next activation. We only have 1 activation left. Action, I should say. Action step in.
Is this the second or third round?
We are in the first round.
Oh, okay.
Yep, first round. We're about to take the final action, and it's all on Ardorn. It's got to be an action from him, or it's got to be a focus, which seems crazy. So he's just going to go for that token. And if I was him, I'd just chip a little damage onto the wielder. Yep, there we go. Two looking for hammers. Nothing there. Let's see if he inadvertently scored anything for Ben. Looks like no. We're in the power step now. Yep, there it is. Farasa coming on.
Nice. So it's funny. This is more what I expected the meta to be overall. I did not expect 17 drums or whatever it was. and I didn't expect the people making the correct meta call being able to get the counters to drawn out there. So I'm really glad that you guys are showing a match like this that actually shows the tactical versatility of Underworlds, as opposed to the always be charging or lock down the jerk trying to charge you.
Huge score from Ben. He's up to 6. Andy trying to keep pace at 4. Now, I do like Andy's board position pretty well, but I said that last game. Andy still has some big scores left in his deck. We saw Supremacy come out for Ben.
Now, I just noticed that, Andy did take out the scripter, didn't he?
Yep.
So that's going to really hurt the Inspire for Ben going into next round.
Now, we should point out, because there is an ability, we have not seen it trigger yet in this match, but Wielder has the ability to bring somebody back, so he could bring that scripter back in.
Doesn't the guy need to be condemned to be able to do it, or is he able to just always do it?
That's a good point. Let's take a quick look at that War Scroll here.
You have it?
I got it here. We're looking for Eternal Duty. Use this immediately after an enemy fighter is slain by your leader's weapon.
Okay, good.
I guess, yeah, so he can bring it back.
So he does have a chance to get it, but it's certainly, maybe you'll get to condemn one guy in round 3 if you're able to do it. So it definitely is a legitimate game plan to target the scripter. In these. It's funny, so I just played against Kairos with his Headsmen.
Okay.
And so my game plan was the double charge with Gorehulk. So it was just charge and rage.
Yeah.
And it works 2 out of 3 times, and we went 2-1. So.
All right, Farasa inspired. Farasa's been just a menace in this particular game. Coming in is a 4 dice attack. She's inspired, so 4 swords. This is enough to just straight up kill the Sharpener if it goes through.
Could do it.
I'm seeing 2 successes.
Okay.
Sharpener does have the ability to stop that. Now with that roll, though, down goes the Sharpener.
Yep.
And Farasa being real careful is not in charge range for any counter from the Wielder, unless the Wielder has some power card support, which we've seen out of Ben's deck. That's bringing the score to 5 for Andy, 6 for Ben. Andy continuing to improve his board state, and we are seeing sidestep, maybe? No, settle in.
Yeah.
So he's going on guard. Frost is the only one inspired, though. Ardorn would really love to find that second defense dice.
Now, it doesn't look like any of the Stormcasts have wounds on them. Is that correct?
Yep, they're the clean sheets on them.
Yeah, so that eliminates the one shot that I think that Ben would be wanting to get.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
It does look like great strength is on the Wielder. So he is on 3 with Grievous, I should say. There's a commanding stride. So he did find his way to get after Farasa, who's the one who's most comfortable taking that attack.
Yeah.
Can't quite see what the other upgrade is on the Wielder. And I should say Ardorn had also put on great fortitude. So Ardorn has been made a fairly unappealing target.
Is that other one hidden aid? Is Welder getting supports?
That's a good guess. That's exactly what it looks like to me.
That and Blade Catcher, I've discovered, are the low-key
incredible,
best upgrades out there. They're really
here comes the Wielder with 1 success, 2 successes because of hidden aid.
Hidden aid, yeah.
And then 2 back at it. My goodness. Oh, that's when you want sharpened points, huh?
Yep.
Let's see how many activations. We're still early. This is first activation. So the now we have another fighter going on guard here. All Ben needs to do is find a charge with the bearer, and then the Wielder's going to get to keep swinging away. Yep. So see if we can get eyes on. I see 2 upgrades and a ploy in Andy's hand. I don't know if that ploy is a push, but 3 upgrades, I say.
So I'm not sure if you've covered this before, but I'm really curious. You notice how both Ben and Andy are using the old style glory tokens as opposed to the ones that have 1 glory and then 5 on the other side.
Yeah, I really like this. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I prefer the spent. I'm going out of my way to get comfortable with the new style because that's what we're going to need to teach new players for.
Yep.
But if I was to give GW any feedback, it's a little bit less intuitive.
Yeah.
And always keeping track of glory. I think in casual games, you're going to see too many people put on too many upgrades than they should have. I know that I've caught my opponents accidentally putting in a couple extra, and opponents have caught me doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely it's probably the one change that they've made that I'm not sure I agree with.
Yeah, we've seen players spending them and unspending them to help keep track, and it's really felt good.
Yeah.
Growing Concern came out. It's reducing move by 1, and that's countered with a sidestep from Ben. So Ben is going to get charge off on to Farasa. Farasa is going to have to absorb a lot of hits here, unless he's got some sort of movement tech.
Yep. Oh, is that a twist the knife?
Looks
Yes,
like a twist the knife.
All right, so that would bump it up to 3 damage if it goes through.
That is what we're looking at.
Okay.
We're looking at 2 hammers supported into 2 shields. That's 2 swords. That will not do the trick.
Ooh.
Crit and shield.
and so I'm not sure if the mic picked it up, but Ben just gave the Jesus pose, arms in the air, unhappy for it.
And I think that might have actually been 2 successes because I think Cackling Court might have been used on that. I think that's why we got that reaction.
That's why it came.
Man, huge roll. Huge
wow.
roll.
So, and that's the biggest thing about Underworlds now. The amount of resources that you put in is, it's very much a risk reward.
Mm-hmm.
How many resources are you going to put in to take something else? Is the juice going to be worth the squeeze?
Yeah. So we saw the confusion come from Ben to slide Farasa over to that spot. Not sure if that was a defensive play to avoid getting driven back, or if there's some other strategy there. Whether we see Andy's been, I think, a little reluctant to come to Farasa's aid, and I think that's because he really wants to be sitting on the treasure that he's on. I think he's unwilling to give up those spots.
If I recall correctly, didn't Andy score supremacy in the last round, or did he?
Andy did not, but Ben did.
Okay, so that could be why Andy's just.
I feel confident that that's going on. He's holding all in his territory. There's a lot of good things going from there. There's was it set explosives? There's one for 2. So I think he's in the running for a real big end phase. And for us is the acceptable casualties.
Oh yeah, I'm having fun. Okay.
We do see a healing potion over here in Andy's hand. He hasn't had to use it because he has not taken a hit yet. But that's got to be a little comforting here that even if the wielder managed to get a swing off here, he's going to get some chunk of it back, 1 or maybe even 2, since he's still the underdog for a little while longer. We're putting an attack action upgrade down on Ardorn. He no longer has the bonus to range, so he's not going to be able to reach out and touch. And if I'm reading his War Scroll right, he still has the Raptor. Raptor's a Sigmar, so I think he still has the +1 damage. Oh, he's got the coming in. Interesting.
So maybe he's not working to score that supremacy after all.
So this attack, 2 hammers, flanked, 3 damage. Oh my goodness. Ben can't believe it.
Yeah.
3 damage, and he's going to Raptors to make it 4.
Yep.
Oof.
Big play from Andy there.
Ardorn with the big swing there. Ardorn is self-damage, but it all has great fortitude, so that was a net change. I think it's a real clever take for the Emberwatch. We were identifying earlier that one of their things they lack is native 3 damage, so they can really kind of boost themselves up
being
there.
able to do some stuff there.
Yeah.
Well, and it's funny. It's one of the interesting things that'll happen when it's Emberwatch against either Thricefold or Gorchosen, trying to be able to essentially stick a move or rope a dope around and live long enough to be able to get all the damage out that you need to. The Emberwatch really do well as a flex warband, and I think as we see keener players come up with plans and we have new universal decks that they're able to use, I think they really will become a contender in the future.
Only one success coming from the wielders. Should be pretty blockable by Farazza. She's rolling 2 shields, and she's got it.
She's got 2 shields.
Not even a drive back. Not that the wielder would be doing that anyway at this point. Branching Fate pops out, though. The silver lining of being the underdog, and now no longer the underdog, is that Branching Fate is very easy to score.
So, I mean, game state aside, Ben is doing a great job scoring his deck.
Yep.
Making sure that he stays in the game. I would almost say that's one of the advantages of the new edition. There's, depending on how you build your scoring capabilities, there's a lot of ways that you can get points in this game.
Yep.
And you keep it tight, and we have seen a lot of that this weekend. Even games that might look like a blowout, have been closer in the glory total. That being said, I've been blown out a couple times, so.
So we have, I think, 1 activation left from each player. And this is kind of the inverse of the first round of this game, where it felt like, I mean, I was wrong about it because he managed to move some things around, but with some big plays to improve board position. And now I think, yep, there we go. It feels like Andy's sacrificing some of his scores, although that's going to push. So he's going to get a free push from I Stand Alone for Uric. Uric managed to send in 1 success.
Looks like 1 hit, yeah. Oh, no.
Wielder defending against easily, and he's on guard.
Oh, Welder was on guard. I missed that token there. There we go.
Wielder's going to get 1 more slice at it. 4 damage, potentially. Not enough to kill Farazza. Farazza's going to be the target, and that's a 2 hammers into 2 shield, which is not impossible, but it's a little daunting.
And we noticed that in the new edition, the attack odds have gone down slightly.
Yep.
By an average of about 5%. So it's not, it'll affect about 1 in every 20.
Here we go. We got 1 success, looks like.
Okay.
And 1 success back.
Success.
Wielder would give anything for sharpened points right now.
Yep.
Be really helping him do. Ben showing us critical effort.
Yep.
He's been trying for a crit all game long. All round, I should say. Oh, pushing in. Interesting. So Andy totally abandoning treasure. Let's see what he thinks. He's going to use the potion, get it out of his hand, clean his cards off again. Yep. Wow. Strong heading into round 3. We're only looking at an 8. Missed his glory there. An 8-7 situation here. Real close. We got some scores from each side. Fields of Blood coming from the
the Headsmen.
Fields of Blood with this many casualties is pretty solid.
The 1, 2, 3. I don't think he scored it because there aren't 4 guys hurt. There's only 3 out of action. So there need to be 4 either hurt or out of action for it. I think he was just showing and
Just showing he couldn't get it. Yeah.
Noticing that he couldn't get it. Expressing his frustration.
We have a pretty good look at Andy's hand. I think these there's a good chance that these Emberwatch start running for the treasure. We've got supremacy in hand. We've got set explosives. So as long as he doesn't lose too many guys, if he can force the wielder to charge and not have as many possibilities for activation, he's going to be in a strong position to just kind of run away with it. Wielder, no damage on him. I don't think there's a lot of value in pursuing that kill, but I could be wrong. Yeah. I mean, he's got the option if he wants because he's got Ardorn with the 3 damage attack, so he could string some stuff together if he really wants to. But if it was me, I'm running for treasure and making the wielder chase me. We got a tie. That's going to go to the underdog, which is helpfully demonstrated by a small black dog.
I believe it's Pug.
Pug. Okay, yep. Fair enough. That does seem appropriate for an underdog.
Yep.
So that means Ben's going to take it. You have to assume that he's going to go right away because he's got a free swing.
Now, is he just going to take the shot at Farasa there?
I think you take the swings that you can. I think that puts pressure on him because he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to charge. That's going to make the rest of his life miserable for the round.
Oh, there we go.
That's a determined effort.
So he'll get the +2 dice for being an underdog.
Clearing his odds.
Oh, he is shaking hard. He wants this one.
We've got 2
there
crits.
We go.
So we know that's going to be another
effort.
No way he can defend that because that's 3 successes against 2 dice, and he. The only thing he could have hoped for is 2 crits to prevent the overrun, which actually I think the wielder maybe takes. 2 surges scoring off there.
Yeah, I don't see what the bottom one was, dude.
I think it was aggressive defender. I think he made an attack while on.
Okay, and Ben pulls ahead.
And puts a ton of damage on Farasa.
Yep.
Spending. Agile.
Yeah.
Agile is going on for a defensive upgrade on the wielder. I think that shifts the math even more. I think that Emberwatch, if they can, run for the treasure. They're helped by having the last activation as far as that goes. We've already seen Commanding Stride.
Right.
So I think the wielder is running out of extra mobility options.
And he did use that Dissipate to go after Farasa before, correct?
Yeah. Yes. Yep. I would be tempted to have Ardorn, Ardorn, all he has to do is start a core action. So Ardorn can just walk onto Treasure Token 4 and pick up 2 shields because he started that core ability while he was in enemy territory. I don't think you're going with Ardorn yet. I think you're getting Farasa out because Farasa is the only one who can be killed with one further.
For how tight?
Oh, did we just confusion? Oh my goodness. Well.
Okay. For as tight as this game is, I think both players are going to be looking at how they can limit the other scoring. They're really going to be looking how they can put just those last couple points on the board.
Yeah.
Because this could very easily go to a tie.
Yeah. If Farasa can absorb at least a couple more swings, so you look at the actions remaining, right? Oh, is that an illusory fighter?
Okay.
He must have been thinking that he was going to get. He was worried about getting killed. Oh, he was seeing a setup. He was thinking like he was going to take a 3 damage attack from that axe. I think that works okay for Andy though, because now he's on a treasure token.
That's right.
Wielder is going to get 1 more attack. Oh, he's charging. I don't know about that. Now the wielder can charge in and get another swing. No, it's a total miss. Well, that's why you do it.
Yep.
Pretty much any time that Fisher or I have said, I don't know if that's the right play, it turns out it's been the right play.
And you know what? Anne gets the Inspire, which will make it a lot harder for the welder to take him down.
Yurik unfortunately only inspires to 1 shield. So Yurik is the only one who doesn't get any defensive bonus out of it. But cannot be one-shot. So the wielder only has enough activations left to take one of these guys out. He's sitting on 2.
Yep.
Ardorn's got the actions left to go get on something. It's tied up.
Yep.
I like Andy's position right now because he's got those big
That's right.
scores in hand. We'll have to see if there's something that that we're not expecting. I think I see Duelist, and I think I see. Oh, coming right back in.
We're gonna take one more shot at glory there.
I don't hate it. It is a all in.
Yep.
It's gonna need
is this a counter charge that's happening here?
It is.
Okay.
Interesting. Little, yeah. I mean, I like it. So counter charge in second edition happens after you've already selected your target,
That's
so they
correct.
can't change onto who they're going. So
that's right. That does make it really interesting. It is also a push, unlike the move token I believe you got last time.
There were several similar cards, but yeah, the let's see, we are seeing one hammer. For us, is pretty safe on this.
So we should have two.
Oh, yep, should be two. Yep. Farasa looking for shields or single supports here. Farasa's going to go down unless there's a reroll. I don't think there is. Oh, there is.
There is. Oh.
2 shields.
Oh. Nope. He was just doing it to fool us.
Okay. Go up to 11 here.
Yeah.
Oh, and a resurrect.
Oh, there you go.
Forgot about that.
And it is the scripter.
That could be big because now he's got one extra piece for knocking people off of features.
Yeah, and having that 4-wound fighter on there is going to be pretty hard to actually take away.
I don't have a good sense for is what Ben's still got in his hand. We're feeling fairly confident that Ardorn and Yurik have a lot if they can stay on those tokens. I don't know if it's Ben's got the has it drawn in? There's the or Lure of Battle. He has that.
Okay.
And so with right positioning, he may be able to get a last second deny on some of these end phase scores. I think that's going to be big. And you have to assume if he's this deep into his deck, he's probably had a chance to see it.
It's going to be really interesting to see what Ardorn does here. Want to try and do... Oh, just going to get out of there?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yep.
The one thing I don't like about this is now that they both... now you have one has charged and one who's moved. So if the scripter managed to get a charge onto Yurik, drives Yurik off, short of having a push to get back on, Yurik is not going to be able to reactivate because the Emberwatch will not get to a charged out state. If they're both sporting moves, then they'd be able to keep reacting to that sort of thing.
So I noticed in the chat both Matt and Tristan have let me know that the old counter charge was a push. I am an unreliable narrator at the best of times, guys. So I do appreciate that you're keeping us honest here.
We are down to the last couple of activations on each side. Emberwatch will have the last one. This is going to have to come from the scripter. I think this has got to be a scripter charge into a spot where he's going to have the option of either shooting in either direction. Yep. No, it was a focus. I think he just discarded. Yep. Getting rid of go all out.
Now, the one problem with the scripter going in is that he's going to have to leave that objective token.
Yeah, if he goes in, it'd be interesting to see if he wants to. So right now he is holding all, but he's not holding 2. He's not holding 2. Yep. He's holding all in his territory, but not holding 2. I don't know if he's saving it for the last, like improve his hand on one, then send him in. That way he doesn't have to worry about a kill.
If I'm seeing this correctly, Ben's only got 1 activation left. Is that correct?
Ben has 1 activation left, and Andy has 2.
Andy has 2, yeah.
Yep.
Which is weird because I thought Andy just moved.
Andy had moved, but Ben just focused. So that's where we're.
There we go.
Yeah. Counting out objectives. We're in that final stage of the game where like they really need to know what's available in the deck. They really need to know what could be available in the other person's deck. This is the point in the match where they have the best knowledge of each other's decks because they've seen everything.
Well, and you know what? I think one of the really good things that Underworlds did a little while ago was ensure that people are not keeping notes.
Yeah.
It really gives an advantage to people who are able to keep in their head what's going on.
Yep. That is
and
not
know
me.
your deck, know the other person's deck, understand the meta, understand what your opponent is trying to do.
Yep.
The tactical flexibility that you need to show is always based on preparation.
Yeah. This is as tight as it gets. 11 to 10. I think we're seeing Duelist come out, going on Ardorn. That makes sense. I think Ardorn can set up for a. No, Ardorn can't set up for a charge. Maybe this is just like, hey, if you want to come in, I'm going to take a shot back at you, and I'm going to push. So let's see. There's Supremacy. There's Set Explosives. And it might be Spread Havoc. Might be the last one that we see in his hand. Spread Havoc's going to go off no matter what. Supremacy and Set Explosives are going to need some specific positioning. Yeah, it's Spread Havoc. And Set Explosives, he needs to hold 2 or more treasure tokens and all the treasure tokens in any territory. So he actually has to get over to 4. The scripter can block that out.
It's funny. Both of these players in their respective metas, Calgary and Vancouver, have been training using really what's not currently being used by a lot of people in the meta. I think it's going to give them an advantage in the long term having that additional experience, whereas so many people are just doing Blazing Assault, Reckless Fury, some with Rack and Ruin. So,
a beautiful hold line, huge. I think the other thing that Brute Momentum. So this is going to a fighter won't be able to be driven back if he has a charge. So I think we're about to see. I guess we're going to see the scripter charge onto 4. Perhaps Andy, knowing that he didn't have a guaranteed 4, we saw him toss away Set Explosives there. So he gave up a 2 glory, and I'm pretty sure what I saw him draw him to was loaded for bear. So he gave away a hard 2 for a guaranteed 1. He's currently sitting on a 6 glory end phase. We don't know what Ben has.
Okay,
that is a 2 success.
2. Yep.
Not 2 successes here. I don't know that this is unless this is scoring an objective for him.
Is he able to?
Can't drive back because the line is out.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep.
You're right.
So the damage, there's technically a stagger there. It's not gonna have much of an effect. And the whole time, also the Emberwatch player has got I Stand Alone in his back pocket. Right, He was going to be able to manipulate the board position. I think he's positioned between where the treasure tokens are and where he's chosen to place his fighters. I think it's been a real masterful play where he's gone for the glory he can guarantee. A lesser player, i.e. me, might have been tempted into trying to get the Set Explosive on 4, but that was a riskier play. He may have just drawn the push everybody within 1 of a stagger token. I have to look that guy up. But that's going to be a little ace in the hole for knocking the scripter off in case that is important. Yep, I'm almost positive I saw Violent Blast come into his hand, which is a big one. We got just a pistol shot coming in. That is not successful. He needed hammers on that. Oh, that was maybe a mistake. He just gave a surge. That means Ben's going to see another objective. And I don't know that there was too much to be gained from that. We'll see if Andy regrets that. All right, here we go. We're scoring. Keep chopping and hold treasure 3 or 4. 2 over here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for Andy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What a game.
16-14. Wow. Good job, gentlemen.
Hands to heads, both of them.
Yeah, this was
incredible.
An incredibly tactical game.
We're going to come back to...
Yeah. Great job.
They're talking through it. I mean, that was amazing. This is the kind of game that we want to have on the stream.
Absolutely.
Yep.
No, and I got to tell you, you got two of the nicest people on there too. They are both such pillars of their community, and it's awesome to play either of them. So, great chance to be able to let them represent us.
Yeah. We had the opportunity to interview Andy earlier when we had the short game, and
Right.
yeah, same thing. Just an incredible guy to get to chat with,
Yep.
and I loved how hard these guys played, how well they played, and how much fun they had. Like that was exactly what you want to see.
Right.
And they're doing it right here at Worlds. Right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And
Yeah.
and you know what? It's the best place for it. The chance to play against people all around the world with different metas, with different play styles.
Yeah.
Has been amazing. Along with that, I think we've got somewhere around, was it 45 Canadians? So it was great to see people from the hobby all across the country.
Yeah.
I'm sure all you Yanks must feel the same way.
Yeah.
Again, to see people from probably every 50 state, if not, I expect it'd be pretty close.
Yeah.
The big thing for us, we see the various teams come from various provinces,
Mhm.
and how they're representing, and even more than that, we've been working on how we're going to get more people out, get more tournaments, be able to come out here. So, I'm really hoping we had 11 out here this year for Underworlds. We're certainly going to be working on getting a lot more that we can. Last year, we actually had no representation for Kill Team.
Okay.
It's awesome to see the 8 guys that are from Canada here for that this year.
Yeah.
So hey, really proud of everybody that's come in, especially proud of these two gentlemen for putting on such a good show for you.
You should be. This was great. Derek, I want to thank you for coming on and
providing
us some Canadian insight.
You got it.
Hopefully we can knock heads again sometime like we did at LVO.
Oh, man.
I'm assembling a long list of impressive players that I've lost to in different tournaments. So you're one of those.
You know what? One thing, and I'm going to put you over a little bit here. That entire crew was there due to a large degree of you and the rest of the What the Hex people. Jessica, I think was her name, the lady that I played in the final.
Jazz.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what? Excellent player. I played her partner as well.
Alex. Yeah.
That. And you know what? Just the nicest people to be able to play with, and some great competition there. So hey, keep it up. Keep up the casting too, man. You're actually not bad at that, you know.
Thanks, Derek.
Thanks again, brother.
You
have a good one.
Good. Yeah, for sure. So, folks, that's going to do it. We are looking at about an hour and 20 minutes out from our next match. We will be going round 5. We're gonna hunt. We're gonna try and get you that Guardians match. I know there's been a lot of folks asking for that, and we'll see what we can do with that. There's always some considerations with what the matchups are and what the scores are. But if we can bring you a game that's half as entertaining as this one, we'll consider ourselves pretty lucky. We'll keep the stream running for a little bit. I'll kind of monitor comments for another few minutes. As usual, we'll kind of drop this one, start another stream. That way they are all available separately for video on demand. Before we go, we do have Fish back here. You are probably muted. Yep. Fish, what a game.
Yeah, what a game. We talked about it before. We talked about it during. We'll talk about it after. 2 phenomenal players.
Yeah.
Absolute back and forth, tightest stuff. The dice put on a show. The players put on a show. You love to see it.
Yeah.
There's nothing more you could ask for.
Yep. Marquee. Beautiful. We're just telling the crew here that we're looking hour and 15, hour and 20 before the next stream. We're going to keep this one running for a little bit. So as folks come here, they'll see that. And then we're going to try and get the people what they want. We'll see if we can get some Guardians in here.
We'll do our best. Yeah, we're going to get some pairings soon. We'll see who's available.
Yep.
There's Cogra's no one's seen. There's Grimwatch no one's seen. There's Guardians no one's seen. There's a couple other nations who haven't been represented yet. We'll do what we can. But we're going to find you something nice.
Yep. And you might notice, despite the heavy presence of Drom out there, we've been kind of dancing around some of those. The story so far has been a lot of Drom wins. And we're going to see more of that, I think, once we get to the top brackets. which is why we're holding off a little bit right now.
Yeah, we did give the people a drum at the start, so you know why.
Yep.
And then we will return to them when we have to, if
Yep.
we have to. For all we know, they're going to get shaken out because Thricefold is looking pretty strong too.
Yeah.
Several other warbands are making a play for it, and you never really know because the dice are going to do dice.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I'm sure we'll see some more drama, especially as we head into the championship bracket. But until then, we will try and dance around that as best as we can.
Yeah. To Jamie's question here, asking or noting that it would be great to see who's won how many games, along with the game round and all that glory counter. I agree. That's an asset that we're gonna have to try and figure out how to put in. And our tech guy is competing right now. But if we get a chance to do this again, if we're invited back again, I can about guarantee that we're gonna introduce some of these nice to haves. That, but if you haven't heard it before, we really did kind of put this together in the last few weeks. Heroic effort from Skylar. Sacrificed a lot of his own prep time for this. You know, he could have been getting reps, and instead he was making sure that you guys out there would be able to see some streamed games, get some coverage. And obviously, I'm going to hype him up because he's my guy. But he's
he did do a lot.
He did.
I mean, all I did is show up and talk. I really haven't done much else. If it wasn't for Skylar, this would be a much different experience for everyone.
Yeah. You would have all rage quit the stream because of the quality. Anyway, yes, agree, and we will try and make sure that's known. We're going to put the mics down for a little bit, get some recovery time before we have another barn burner, and hopefully we got another great match coming for you. I'll check in on the chat in a little bit, try and clean up any last questions before we shut the stream down.
Absolutely.
So thanks, folks. We'll see you soon.